Good evening, and welcome back to the Late Shift, Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. And if you love college football, we're finally back. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. What's up, Goated? Thank you, sir, for wiping them feet. I'm glad to see everybody in here. Week 0 got underway today. I'm going to have a special guest pop in with me shortly, in just a few minutes, I believe. We'll be talking a little bit with him about what happened in Week 0, what we expect to go down in Week 1. Excited about that, obviously. What a day in college football. What's up there, Rob077? Hankster. Oh, you can't find the footage of the family fight in Ireland? Oh, well. Shucks, I don't really know what to do here. Let me see. Here you go, Hankster. Just for you. Number 2 is apparently Avery's pops. And the guy that he had pinned down to the ground, his brother. This is good stuff. I don't care who you are. Sooner in Texas, what's up, man? You're welcome. You guys can have it. Too good. I'd love to know what was said that made Pops jump on his neck like that. But yeah, it can't have been something about Chris Kleiman being a moron and not handling that game very well. It doesn't seem like. But I guess he could have a lot of love for Chris. Listen, I thought Avery obviously played very well. You know, he had 3 touchdowns, 270-something yards or something like that. Feels like that's about right. Let me see. Let me pull up the stats real quick there. I guess we're going to talk about this anyway. UNLV tried to blow it to Idaho State. Let's see. There we go. Box score. Yeah, Avery had a good game. He had 273, 2 touchdowns, added another one on the ground with another 21 yards. So he was pretty close to 300-yard day. I mean, doesn't seem like it should have been a problem. What up, fellas? Been a long time. Sooners to win. Good to see you, Hankster. Yeah, football family. Yeah. It is what it is. D-Max, you wish. You wish, bro. We're probably going to end up having to whip the shit out of a bunch of damn Texas fans when we beat the shit out of you on the field, too. That's how it usually goes. Actually, there's not generally a ton of fights at the Red River. I've seen a few, though. I have seen a few. But, yeah, you're not getting that up there. Horns down, throw them all the way down. While we're at it.
The brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
And then some. And while we're at it, just to kind of get us going right for D-Max.
Shut up! Little dumbass.
We appreciate you coming in for sure. Appreciate it. Greg, good to see you, man. We don't play the Cowboys, so it ain't happening. Yeah. Generally speaking, like I said, even I've seen a few fights at the Red River. Don't get me wrong, but generally people act with some level of decorum at the Red River. I say that, but there's been times that you know better. Real quick here. Welcome into the show. My favorite, your favorite. From Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. JJ Kitchen. What's up, my guy?
What's going on, brother? What's going on? It's college football season. We've got fights everywhere. We've got some upsets here and there. College football is back in full mix, that's for sure.
Hey, man, anytime there's a family fight after a game, you know that we're back. What a deal.
That's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, I know it's a tough loss and whatnot. They're over in Ireland, but, as you can imagine, you can only imagine what was said, and probably there were some drinks involved. So it is what it is.
You think the Guinness was flowing pretty good today?
Oh, it was said that the Guinness was strong. Oversupply.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah. Yes. We had D-Max Bravo in here. He's a Texas fan and already said that's how Oklahoma fans are going to be at the Red River. I don't know. I don't really feel it. I feel like there's a few fights here and there sometimes at the Red River, but most of the time people act with some level of decorum at the state fair.
That's a good thing. I can tell you this: we've had our levels of discussion between the backyard brawl and why Pitt fans don't go down to West Virginia, because they've had quite a bit of incidents down there where they've gotten involved in some stuff, and it is what it is, brother. It's a game. I always love the backyard brawl, especially the Red River rivalry. You're watching those games; they're fun, very competitive, very, very a lot of hatred on both sides. But at the end of the day, the stuff afterwards,
emotions are high always. But I've been to a backyard brawl too back in the day. So and it was at West Virginia. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. But I think there were a fight or two. There was a fight or two in the stands, and then there was coming in. There was more fighting than there was going out. It felt like though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But hey, man, that's it's good, clean fun whenever that goes. And as Sooner in Texas says, it was Ireland. Fights are welcome. It wouldn't be Ireland if there wasn't fights at a recreational event. So yeah. So this was it wasn't just K-State fans, Gray. This was Avery Johnson's brother and dad. I just keep asking. I wonder what the hell it was that his son said to him that made him jump on his ass, because he had him pinned down pretty good too, man. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Apparently so. Go ahead.
Crazy stuff, man.
I wonder what they were saying. I wonder what was being said. What did he say to his pops that made him go off? Because Avery played pretty good. I don't know. I mean, he had 270 something and 3 touchdowns total, two passing touchdowns, the rushing touchdown. I think that Kleiman continues to make questionable decisions during games and close games. I like Chris Kleiman overall, but I think that he hasn't been great in big situations lately. I don't know.
Yeah, he hasn't been. It's been a crazy situation, obviously, and obviously the conference games, game one, are tough. You're working out a lot of kinks and whatnot, but
exactly.
Man, that's tough. That's tough overall. But shout out to Matt Campbell, man. I mean, he is what he's done, what he's been able to do. He's had the ups and downs at Iowa State. He's had a couple bad years, and then he just bounces right back. I mean, that guy, he's a hell of a football coach. I mean, especially at Iowa State. It's so hard to win at Iowa State. I mean, he's the most winningest coach already. That guy's done a hell of a job.
Iowa State has been, before Matt Campbell got there, it was shit after shit and on top of shit for years. I mean, he's beaten Iowa. That never happens. I mean, Matt has done a hell of a job. And if you think about it, when all that stuff broke out on the gambling stuff a couple of years ago, where they had that state police sting and all that, and you found out that idiot quarterback that they had then, there was video of him making a bet with an Iowa fan in a fucking bar, and then they were able to pull up all the stuff from the online betting and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, I mean, they were all, and Iowa also was caught up in that. I'm not just going to throw that all on Iowa State, but me and Coach were at the Big 12 media days that year.
Yeah.
And we stood front and center and accepted it. And said that they were working it out and that they were going to get a handle on everything. It wasn't going to be something that continued. I almost felt like it was probably the end of the road for Matt at that point. Yeah. And he has continued to – they just got better from there, And Rocco Beck, he ended up having to play because he was as a true freshman. I've been impressed with him from day one. What a game by him today. Rocco's a hell of a coach, a hell of a player. I mean, a hell of a player.
Yeah, and I think just, again, like to your point, he went through that stretch and people were talking about Matt Campbell. He was big on, the bigger jobs and he should have taken a bigger job. I mean, just sometimes, especially at a place like Iowa State, you're not going to be able to grab all the best talent in the world. But, I mean, the guy has done a great job. I mean, he's off to a hot start. You're 1-0 in the Big 12. One of the other teams that was probably projected to get to the Big 12 title game, you've already beaten them once. Now he's have a couple warm-up games where he starts to hit the non-conference schedule. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I always kind of, and we were kind of talking about this, and I was waiting to see if Neilio would pop in here. But I tell you, it's kind of crazy, right? Because it feels like the teams that go over and play in these games in Ireland and stuff overseas, it almost feels like they end up having a hangover, especially the team that loses once they get back. Like you saw last year with Florida State. I mean, they had chances to win that game, lose to Georgia Tech, and then they end up going 2-10 after that because, injuries were a big part of it. I know DJU went down real early in the year. Their defense was not what they said it was going to be. And it feels like, but then I remember the year before, I think it was that year before that the Notre Dame team where they came in and they won easy over there, but then it just seemed like they didn't really ever get over the jet lag coming back, losing the close games like the one to Louisville, and then they had lost that game also to obviously to Ohio State. But it just didn't ever seem like they got it together the way you would have expected them to or whatever. Do you think there's any kind of hangover that goes from trips like that? Jet lag is real.
Yeah, I mean, for starters, I mean, flying over there, that's a big thing, but both teams go through it. Both teams have to come back. That's the biggest one. I know I can tell you this, that'll be something that we look at here for Pitt because, Pitt faces Wisconsin in 2027 over in Ireland. So that'll be an interesting game to see how they react. But the jet lag there, you can imagine that game's going to be sloppy. I think the Florida State debacle, I think they were just a bad football team. I think DJU really struggled. He struggled as the year went on. Good for him. He's starting to do a better job actually in the NFL. It's a preseason right now, but he's with Jim Harbaugh, which I think is a really good setup for him and what they want to do with their offense, especially with play action.
He's happy with him being around Harbaugh, and Harbaugh really likes him too. I was talking to DJ's dad, so I feel like that's a good situation for him. I don't think it was a great situation at Florida State all the way around. I think that they've turned into a mercenary program, and it concerns me.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people are starting to look at it that way too. That there's a lot of mercenary. I mean, that's a great word to actually use right there too. They're going after certain players that you kind of have to just ask the question, what's their overall game plan? And I think they're having a major issue developing players, especially at the quarterback position. We've seen a number of schools go through that, and they're having hard times. A school that I'm going to be watching a lot of this year. We talk about different quarterback plays, and what it's going to look like. Notre Dame's been very known to go out and get a quarterback from a number of different teams. They're going with Lloyd Carr's grandson. We'll see what he looks. We'll see what he looks like. I know there's some question marks around him, but I mean, it's just you can't develop your own talent, you're going to have issues. And I think Florida State, they're such a hard team. And I was looking at the ACC overall. They're very hard to project on where they're going to be because you had the college football playoff debacle they had a couple of years ago. Then they go 2-10. I think they still have issues up front on their D line. The same thing with their O line. Their wide receiving core isn't as deep as what you want it to be. I think that Tommy Castellanos is not a good quarterback. I mean, they paid $2 million for him. I'm absolutely shocked by that. I mean, he got benched at Boston College. Boston College got better when he left. I think there's a lot of questions around the decision making, and they're locked into that guy. I mean, he's got 7 years left after his new deal he signed after the 2023 season. I think he's got a lot to worry about. That's the biggest thing. And to Oklahoma right there, Texas Tech.
I mean, he had to get rid of his entire coaching staff. Now, I've never been a big Gus guy as far as head coach is concerned. We know that Gus has done a really good job as a coordinator. And of course, we've got connections to Jaden O'Neal, we thought he was coming to Oklahoma. He ended up flipping and going to Florida State. With Gus, that could turn into a good thing for them because he should be ready to rock and roll. He's got the kind of arm. You don't want him to have to play in the first year if they don't have to, but that could work out as far as I think Gus is going to do a pretty good job with the quarterbacks. He generally does, right?
I think to your point there as well, he's a better OC. He's a better OC than head coach.
That's what I was getting at. And I think that's where I hope that they're headed, if Florida State wants to get back to what they should be or what we've known them to be in the past, you're going to have to get back to developing because you need to use the portal, I believe, in certain instances. But it's got to be more filling in needs, not just an entire team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to your point there, it's always about filling in the gaps and being able to really plug and play in certain places. For instance, when a head coach takes over in a new program, they're going to be using the portal a lot. I mean, a prime example of that is West Virginia. They've got 73 new players. Me personally, I don't have a very high expectation for them this year because when they have so many new players, a lot of them from the FCS ranks, some D2 players, some JUCO players. You're really getting an influx of new guys. When you're uplifting your roster every year, you start to really have a lot of problems. And I think if you're like, for instance, prime example, when Colorado, when they brought in over 50 or 60 new guys their first year, heck, they were they had it was like they went 4-8 that season. When you're having too many new players come into the system, you're having a problem, And I think that when you're not able to develop your own talent, you've got major issues behind the scenes. I've been a major guy and component of that. I know you have been as well. It's about developing talent. You still need to recruit high school, and I think that a lot of high school kids are losing some of those opportunities now because of the portal. But the portal is a lot more expensive too. There's a salary cap for a reason now. NIL is much more strict when it goes to the clearinghouse. Guys need to get back to making sure that they're developing their own rooms and developing their own talent and then holding their talent in the program. If you're getting over 30 or 40 players a year in the portal, that you're having either a culture issue or you're letting certain guys go that you just can't have there. It's understandable if guys leave because they're not going to be able to play and they're not on the 2 deep. That's understandable. When you're losing 70,
that's the new world we live in. We understand that part. But the point is, if you're not developing anything talent wise, I look at the way that Oklahoma's done it. You think about Coach. Hey, Coach, good to see you in here,
Coach.
And obviously with Notre Dame has those admitted. They've changed some of their stuff as far as who they let in. But basically, you got to be a graduate to be able to transfer into the portal there, more or less the last few years. That's made Marcus Freeman do what he does, recruit really well, build from the bottom up, and then hope that you can add in this guy or that guy in certain places. And I think that the teams that you've seen, think about the last 2 national champions. Michigan, same as Ohio State. They've done a good job of just retaining their guys that they've developed. And like last year, if you think about Ohio State, they had some guys that they brought in the portal. And obviously, bringing in a Will Howard who had some experience, that was important. Quinshawn Judkins was important. You had Caleb Downs, he was big. But as big as anything was the fact that they made a commitment to pay the guys that could be in the NFL to stay 1 more year, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's important that you do it. You have to continue to recruit the way you normally would. You better figure something out with your NIL and your, and collectives or whatever it is. I know that we're still kind of in that weird place right now with NIL stuff. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to do anything about really limiting that because it, and you shouldn't be able to limit that, by the way. The players they deserve to make as much as they can make off of whatever it is somebody's willing to pay them. I've always felt that way. I think that, I don't want to see it be as crazy as it has been, but I think all of that is a result of adults making stupid rules and not putting any real parameters in place when they launched all this crap on us to begin with. I don't blame the players. I never have.
I agree.
I think that you needed some guardrails, and I hate that word too, but you've needed some guardrails, but that was not the fault of the kids ever at any point, really.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for me, I like the salary cap of why they're doing what they're doing to make sure everyone in college football is able to be competitive. But when I think it comes to NIL, if it's true NIL with real organizations, and if they're willing to pay whatever they want, they should be able to pay whatever they want. It's that simple. It's especially too when it's their business and they want to pay a certain amount of money. I'm okay with that. And I think that, we're finally moving in the right direction where I think, rules and regulations are starting to get put into play where things are making a lot of sense. They're taking a lot of stuff to where I think it starts to get to more of a pro model. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I think so too. And I just want to see them get it right and everything and make sure that you want to see it be a little more. I mean, here's the one thing that I think people mostly don't talk about when it comes to the transfer portal. A lot of these kids are being asked to leave. They don't ever talk about it because the kid would rather look greedy than sucky. And he's trying to get a better place to play or it's an opportunity. And, the school's never going to say, oh, yeah, we told her to get in the portal because it looks bad on them. But they like having the ability to go 1 year at a time and decide what they're going to do. And scholarships have always been 1 year at a time. This is the way coaches want it. In my opinion, the only thing I ever say, me and Coach were talking about this before, was that, look, the things that people act like they have a problem with college football, and if they wanted to fix it, you could. Collective bargaining. You get collective bargaining, players can get locked into you for a while. You know, if they wanted them to be locked in, they'd sign them to longer contracts. You know what I mean? And be willing to do it. I feel like, you know, if there's issues, the issues are not with the athletes. And the ones that are with the athletes are problems that they didn't create. So find a way to figure it out yourself as a university, as a conference, as, you know, all that other stuff, and quit putting it off on the guys that don't make the fucking rules.
Yeah. But I think also, too, with the players, you know, they're very much fighting contracts, though, too. You know, they don't want to have a 3-year, 4-year deal because guess what? When a university signs you to a 3 or 4-year deal, if you leave, that university's going to pay you out. So what they want to do is really a 1-year contract at a time. Usually they lose all leverage. Now, if I'm a university, I would love a 4-year deal. If I can get a kid on there and I recruit that kid, and I say, okay, we'll pay you over 4 years. We'll give you $2 million over 4 years. If someone wants to take you from us, they pay out the remainder of the contract. And that's where things start to get really put into into different plays, you know. And again, I've said, you know, I like the guys getting paid, you know, and I played in college athletics. But the pro model to make this happen is a lot harder because you're only in school really for 4 or 5 years. It's not like the pros when you can be in the pros for 15 plus years. So, I mean, there's just so many questions. I think, again, the salary cap was the right thing to do. It'll continue to rise over time. The NIL stuff is there. The biggest thing for me that just bothers me is the kids that are transferring 2, 3, 4, or 5 different times. Because at the end of the day, that kid's not getting a real education. It's not. You're not going to play in the pros. You got to get an education. You got to get a piece of paper. It's there. Don't waste that time period. There's just a lot of stuff in that ways. But also, too, I think just it's that. But also, if a kid enters the portal, you can talk to him. The tampering stuff is really what starts to piss me off. Because if the kid's not in the portal, you know, I got a real issue with third parties going behind the doors and just saying, hey, well, if you jump in the portal, we'll pay you this much. It's just like, you know, it's like in the NFL, if a guy has a 2-year deal and he's on the roster, you can't go and tamper with him. We've seen that numerous of times where teams get fined.
Well,
you know, it's just
the whole thing we said about the adults. You've got agents and all these guys that are the wrong people to have, you know, making all the rules or like, you know, if you're putting it all in their hands to do the right thing, you're fucked because they're not going to do the right thing.
Also, to the parents, I mean, some of these parents are trying to live through their kids, and I just think that they're not doing what's right for the development of the kid. You know, that's just like that's the biggest thing for me because at one point in time, on both sides of it, if the players want to do a lot of business, then guess what? They better expect business on the university, the agents, the coaches, everything, and it gets really dirty and very greedy. I mean, it's a tough line, and you're starting to get into, and then you know, for me,
slope, man, no doubt about it.
Exactly. And I think, you know, 5 years ago, if I would have heard a coach was pushing a kid off a team, I'd have an issue with it. But now, with the way that it is with a business, if you're not performing, hey, that's how life goes. If me and you aren't performing at work, guess what's going to happen? They're going to let you go. I mean, that's real life.
Well, and this is real life. And that's the whole thing. I feel like, and if you look at Oklahoma, they were a lot heavier in the portal this past season than they've ever been since Brent got there. In fact, he was very timid about getting guys. He didn't want to poach anybody from Clemson. I mean, I have my own opinions about that, but the thing is he kind of had to warm himself up to it. But now you get into a situation where you're 6-7 a second time around at Oklahoma, and it's you know, we need guys that are going to contribute today, right now. They still have a large group of guys that they've developed from day one. But I think that this is why we have high expectations at OU is because that they've got depth all over that defense, and it looks like a Brent Venables defense. You know, big on the defensive line, really good, looking really good in the secondary. The linebackers doing what they're doing. I think they're going to be really good there. Now your concern is, okay, what do we do offensively? You'll get a guy like John Mateer in the portal. You go get a guy like Jay Knott in the portal, and you switch offensive coordinators. Now all of a sudden you could be cooking with gas. But he didn't have a choice anymore but to go and get the guys you got to have to win right now, because OU is not a place that you can, you know, waste a lot of time winning because of the standard, you know?
Yeah. And I think he's done a good job this past year. I think he got the right guys of what he's looking for. But also, too, I think, you know, Jim Nagy's another guy I think was just a tremendous hire. I mean, the guy finds talent from anywhere. So I think that was a really good one too. And I think that, Oklahoma is primed right now in a really good position to have a really good year. And I think the quarterback position, Armbuckle, I think he's the real deal. I think for how young he is, I still think he's the real deal. I think he'll do a really good job this year. I think he'll get better over time. I think he'll be really at Oklahoma for 4 or 5 years until there's a head coaching position that comes calling. So we'll see.
There's not really better coordinator positions around I mean, there could be one or two, but the truth be told, if you're going to be a coordinator, Oklahoma's the kind of job you want to be a coordinator at, right? I mean, that's where you can get head coaching jobs from now. Yeah. I mean? So I agree with you. I think the thought being, obviously, you had a ton of injuries and stuff like that for OU last year that really hurt things along with it. And it turned out that Jackson Arnold wasn't as good or ready as what, you would have wanted him to be coming into your first year in the SEC, which was murderer's row when you look at that schedule. I want to talk to you a little bit about Pitt. Coach said in here he also felt like it was a scary game. I've been saying that I think Notre Dame is one of the favorites for me to win the whole thing. Obviously, CJ Carr or Minshew, whoever ends up playing the most, because Carr's got the job at the moment. But they're going to have to get good play from the quarterbacks. I think they need to be better in the passing game than they have been. But they're going to do what they do very well. They're going to play well in the trenches. Their offensive line has been great. Their defensive line has been good. I think defensively, in the way that they do things, they've taken on that attitude of a Marcus Freeman. I like Notre Dame coming in, but he was talking about being a little concerned about playing you guys this year. What are you thinking about Pitt so far right now?
So right now, I think that they've got good depth in a number of different places. Pitt had a little bit of a setback to where a couple backup reserve linebackers, which, I think Pitt really at this point has one of the best linebacker cores in the country. Pitt's one of 10 schools that has, 2 All-Americans, one on both sides of the football with, Kyle Lewis at linebacker, an All-American, Desmond Reed back at running back as an All-American, which I think is really good. I mean, the starters on both sides, I'm very excited for. Cade Bell in year 2. We saw him take our offense from 113th in the country down to 42nd in the country in just 1 year. We'll expect that to jump up this year. A lot better options, I think, too, when it comes to the wide receiving core. They brought in a guy like Deucepan from Florida State. Kenny Johnson's back again. Yeah, and Deucepan, a guy at 6'4", runs a 4.4. It's good to be able to stretch the field with a bigger guy. And then you have a guy like Kenny Johnson who's really 6'1", 6'2" on the outside. But they got Kateris Blue Hicks that came in from Louisville. I think he's done a good job. He's, again, a 5'11" guy, a lot of speed. I mean, watching him in the spring game was a lot of fun.
Explosive.
But I think that
he's explosive.
Yeah. And I think that we're back to where, year 2 in this offense, you feel really good about Eli Holstein with him being back. Again, the Alabama transfer, he looked really good when he was healthy last year. We weren't able to keep him upright. We went through a number of injuries up front. Then he gets hurt. Then you're in your second and your third quarterback. But this offense, I was very impressed with.
It started off really well, though, right? Started off 5-0. Obviously, the injury happens. They end up losing out. But I guess my question is, where are you guys at coaching-wise? I know you kind of hinted at this is kind of one of those put-up or shut-up years there, too.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they started and ended up getting a 7-0, lost out, lost 6 in a row between all the injuries and whatnot. And I get that, but you just can't have that happen. There's 1 or 2 wins that are in there that you say, hey, they should have won. And I think they do. Between Virginia and Boston College, I mean, I thought those were 2 wins right there. They should have beat Clemson. We threw for 350 yards, but just bad coaching towards the end, and then the defense just letting up down the road. But for Pat Narduzzi, this is year 11. Year 11, he's won an ACC title. He's been to the ACC championship twice in his tenure. That's all well and good, but the reality is where we're going at in college football. This guy's now in his 11th year. It's time to show up. These last 2 years, he went 3-9, and then to 7-0, then to 7-6. There's question marks there. He needs to be better. He needs to win this year. And my over-under, I had him at he's got to win 9 games. If he doesn't win 9 games, you got to go in the other direction. We have Alan Green, the new athletic director, and Joan Gable, the new chancellor. Joan Gable is very much business-like. She wants to be very competitive in football and in basketball. She's put a lot of resources, money into that kind of stuff. She hires Alan Green, who is a former athletic director at Auburn, but he was over at Ole Miss and then over at Tennessee. Tennessee was very adamant about giving him another shot at the position, which, so far in 9 months, the guy's done a hell of a job. We broke records in terms of bringing in donations and whatnot. I think he's a guy that when he looks at the football program, he wants to be very successful. And he's been very outright saying, football's going to get whatever it needs to be successful. There is no percentage. They're going to get whatever the hell they need, which was great to hear. But I think overall, it's very important that he probably, those conversations that I know personally have happened behind the scenes that said, hey, it's time for you to win this year, or we're going to work to get money to get the buyout, and we're going to go get a guy in the SEC. And he's been adamant about his connections within the SEC. And I know there's some names out there personally that I know that are working in the SEC that would certainly take that job and have a head coaching position in the Power Four and be able to really compete with a team like Clemson, And when you look at the top of the ACC, Louisville's up there with Jeff Brom. He's done a hell of a job.
What a coach, man. What a coach Jeff is.
He just continues to win. He's just a quarterback guru. I think he does a great job. Then you got Bill Belichick at North Carolina. We'll see what they do this year. He's brought in a lot of talent there. Florida State, again, very hard to evaluate in what they do at the ACC. This will be a good question. We'll actually get to that, Moosehead. I think it's a great question. We'll get to that because I have some thoughts on that. But overall, you look at the ACC, it's, again, a lot of up for grabs. There's a lot of good teams there. I think Clemson, Miami is stacked. I think when you look at the roster overall, I think Carson Beck is not as good as Cam Ward. Cam Ward was a special quarterback. But you look at their roster, I think it's the best built roster overall. But whether they can get those guys to play at a high level, you have those type of guys that are in there.
Their defense again, probably better than it's been since Mario got there too, right?
Yeah, he has just recruited extremely well. And obviously, for Pitt, I looked at their schedule. When I looked at Pitt's schedule, I looked at the last 3 games, man. Pitt has Louisville, Pitt has West Virginia in the backyard brawl. You've got Florida State in Tallahassee. But the last 3 games, Notre Dame at home, Georgia Tech on the road, and then Miami at home. That's a very difficult stretch there down the road. And I think that, one, to Coach's point, talks about just the game, that game could be a toss-up game. I think for Pitt, it's a good thing to get a little bit more of a look of Notre Dame. But also, too, if Notre Dame's sitting at 8-0, 9-0, that's going to be it's a very tough game for Pitt. Because Notre Dame, we know who they are. They're built tough, man. They're tough up front. Oh, man. They had
first off, little hiccup last year, and then they got better from week to week, which is why I was like, look, don't sleep on Notre Dame, because Marcus has got these guys playing better week to week.
Yeah,
I really like him as a contender this year.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is with him, he won with younger guys, and now they have more experience. So I expect Notre Dame to be better this year than they were last year, and be honestly even healthier. So I think just that game overall, it's at Acrisure Stadium. I will certainly be there. It'll be a lot of fun. But the schedule, you look at the ACC schedule for Pitt this year, it's just not easy, man. And then the out of conference, you've got Notre Dame out of conference, West Virginia out of conference, and then in the conference, you got Louisville, you've got Miami, you've got Georgia Tech, who I think Brent Key, a Nick Saban disciple, has done a good job recruiting.
Done.
Yeah, he just continues to get better. Faulkner, the offensive coordinator there, and then they just paid him $3 million to stay at Georgia Tech. That guy's a hell of a coordinator. I think there. Plus, you got Miami. Plus, you got Florida State down at Tallahassee, Boston College with Bill O'Brien. They continue to get better. Luckily we dodged. We had I think we had Clemson 3 straight years at one point. So we get to dodge Clemson again this year. But I'm really excited overall for the schedule. But guess what? At the end of the day, Pitt has the talent. They've got a lot of depth this year. They've certainly built what they want to. There's no reason why Pitt shouldn't win 9+ games this year. And if they don't, if they don't, there needs to be a change, in my opinion.
Okay. Trojan Fight brings up a good point here, and we will get to what we were talking about a few minutes ago with FSU and the ACC real quick against Bama. But 9 conference games. The SEC, a couple of weeks, even as late as a week ago, they didn't really look like they were going to go to a 9-game schedule because of the way that they've the concerns that they have over playing 9th game. You're going to possibly get a loss. It's 9 more losses for the conference, no matter what. And they didn't feel like they were getting a fair shake with what was going on strength of schedule wise when you compare it to the Big Ten, and the fact that got teams like Penn State and even Ohio State are playing bad schedules overall.
Yeah, very bad schedules, actually.
Right, and so they did it. Obviously, ESPN ponied up some money, made them go to a 9-game schedule. it's going to help. My favorite thing about it is that it keeps a lot of rivalries going, which I think is the lifeblood of college football, is rivalry games. But to just answer this question, Trojan Fight, I think the ACC has been ready to go to a 9-game schedule for a while now. They've been waiting to see if the SEC does it because of the fact that they play a lot of SEC schools. They have rivalries with the ACC. So that's kind of been the way. I think they will go to 9. What do you think? I think they probably do soon.
Yeah, I think they do soon because a lot of what the ACC does coincides with what the SEC does, especially with scheduling. I think people don't realize on the outside how much the SEC and the ACC have so much in common, but especially too with the rivalry games. That's really the biggest thing you're going to see. For me overall, though, I
get those rivalry games to not happen. So I mean, because a lot of legislatures are not having it to where you don't continue those in-state games. Right?
Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, am I upset a little bit that the SEC kind of, went the wayside and kind of almost bent the knee to the Big Ten? I am. I mean, I think that the scheduling, that the SEC had always had proof. People always bitched and complained that the SEC in Week 10 would always have an FCS opponent. But guess what? When you look at the schedule, the SEC and the ACC, what do they always do? You have all your rivalries by the end of the year. Like for instance, this year, Pitt and the ACC has 10 Power 4 games. Yep. Every team in the SEC has at least 9 to 11 Power 4 games. Yep. It's never been an issue. The bullshit that we saw with Indiana and Kurt Signetti, where he took off the Virginia game and he put Kennesaw State. They've got 9 P4 games, but be very realistic about the Big Ten. They're top heavy just like every other conference besides the Big 12 because there is no big team in the Big 12. Look at, for instance, the Big Ten is clearly and strategically Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn State. That is it. The rest of that conference is very much in the same realm of what they are always and equally. I mean, heck, Iowa was winning the western side of the division by scoring 1 to possibly 2 touchdowns a game. I mean, there's not a lot of elite teams that are in there. And then, heck, North Carolina went to Minnesota Week 1 and beat Minnesota. I mean, for me, I think the Big Ten is so overhyped, and that garbage that we were listening to was absolute bullshit. I mean, if you put again the heads up between the SEC and the Big Ten, the SEC, I guarantee you, SEC has more wins. I think there's a lot of garbage between
bowl games and doing all that other shit. Bowl games. I laugh.
Bowl games don't mean shit anymore because everybody doesn't play. You know what I mean?
And what I was getting at is the people who will do this. They don't matter when you lose it. When you win it, then you used it as a reason to pound your chest and shit like that, and act like it matters on the whole. Because you had bowl wise, and they got the national championship the last 2 years. I'll give the Big Ten that. You won the national championship. Good for you guys. I'm not saying anything about that. I think Ohio State was clearly the best football team in the country last year, without a doubt. I don't think that I don't think that you can doubt it when you watched what they did through the playoff. But overall, I mean, if we're going to start talking about Michigan, Bama, whatever. Who gives a shit? Who cares about the Illinois and South Carolina game? I knew South Carolina was a joke. I knew they were. Yeah. They didn't beat anybody to begin with. They lost a couple of close games and pounded their chest about being the hottest team in the country because they were able to beat A&M at the end of the year. Who the fuck are we talking about? Yeah, and they beat Clemson. They beat Clemson the second time in like 13, 14 years. That was one of the biggest and most comical fucking things I saw out of South Carolina. I'm like, dude, you didn't face anybody. I mean, come on. It's just like, come on. Like, going to go to somebody else in the SEC. It was going to be Bama or Ole Miss because they both beat your ass on the field.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if it was really extended, a team like Miami should have gotten in, which I thought would have been a better matchup against Penn State. You would have had Clemson, SMU, and Miami. I think those are clearly the 3 teams.
I thought that SMU, they didn't beat anybody of significance really last year. The other game they beat Louisville, I guess. Well, that would have been a significant. But they lost their other biggest game though. They lost it at home to BYU. And then they lost a close game in the championship to Clemson.
Yeah.
Me, it's like, that was your playoff game right there. You needed to win that thing. I would have rather seen Miami than SMU in if they were going to only get 2.
I agree, but I think that also, too, I understood why, because if you don't have SMU get in, for where they were ranked, then you're basically penalizing them for playing in the championship game. You just can't do that. I really had a question about Tennessee, and just Tennessee got the fucking shit blown out. I mean, their doors were blown the fuck off. I mean, that wasn't even. I remember when we sat down. There's a whole
next week. Oregon got the same fucking treatment a week later in the Rose Bowl. So it's not like they did. I mean, they played the best team and got smoked by them. The number one team in the country did too.
Yeah. It's just there's just a lot of talking from certain teams that you're just like,
yeah, shut up.
I question a lot of it, and I think that you look at the top of this, the top of the leaderboard. Again, Georgia certainly deserved to be in there, but then they had a gripe. People had a gripe about them because they lost Carson Beck, and then that fucking team just looked completely different. I mean, watching them, they were just getting physically fucking pummeled in that playoff game. I mean,
Notre Dame,
I understand.
Notre Dame was the real deal was because I said they will physically play up with Georgia. They can physically withstand that. That's why I think they're the real deal. Go ahead.
And then watching the absolute fucking coaching meltdown from James Franklin at the end of that Notre Dame game. I mean, just Marcus Freeman, when you looked at the last 10 minutes of that football game, Marcus Freeman was just truly a special coach in there because you saw so many great late game stuff. I mean, it was unreal.
Yeah, outclassed him completely. Go ahead. Sorry about that. I got the camera's kind of messing with me. Continue.
Yeah, so I think overall when you're looking at a bunch of these teams, like I'm happy, for instance, in the playoff now, it's okay. Your five conference champions get in, but now it's not like your conference champions get a certain bye week. I like how they're going to be able to go through a ton of different stuff now. How they seed it, they're going to seed every team from 1 to 12, how it should be right now. Because Boise State should have never been a bye week team. That was an easy game for Penn State, but you look at James Franklin, one of the things that really caught my mind, and it certainly came back around, and I've been watching a lot of banter from Penn State and Notre Dame fans, and Notre Dame fans are dunking on Penn State fans, which I love, by the way. And one of the things that really caught my eye, and if you go back and watch it, I suggest everybody who's watching the show eventually go back and watch this. Before the game, roughly 2 days before the game, there's always a coach's press conference. James Franklin kept calling him Marcus, not Coach Freeman. He kept calling him Marcus, and he kept throwing little jabs at it. Like basically,
yeah.
Hey, you're a younger coach. That's great. I'm James Franklin. I've been at Penn State for now 11 years now. No one gave a shit. And guess what? I can assure you. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. I know it because I know people in the organization at Notre Dame, especially players there from Pittsburgh that are at Notre Dame, that basically said, look, he went back in that locker room the next day and said, guys, they think they're fucking better than us. They think they're much higher than us on the leaderboard. That ain't going to happen here today. And you watch that team, even with guys that were out. Notre Dame was missing how many starters? They had a true freshman quarter playing.
Absolutely. They had true freshmen all over the offensive line and still figured them up.
Yeah. And then on top of that, Penn State didn't complete one pass to a wide receiver all game. It was either to a running back or their tight ends. And Coach, to your point, he did disrespect them.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was, and I think it's laughable that a guy like James Franklin would do that when you've got one fucking win over Ohio State in 11 years. One.
Dude, now what he's going into his 12th year now. So so that he's won in fucking 10 against Ohio State. Do you realize how hard it is to do that?
He's only beaten Michigan twice, and he's in Michigan State. They only started beating them after they got shitty the last few years, right?
But to your point, they have a losing record against Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State. And the only reason they started getting wins at Michigan State was because Mark D'Antonio retired. It's just anytime there's a good team, they can't beat them. I just. For me, I think that that awakening.
You're talking about bowl games. I mean, the New Year's Six games are the closest thing to a bowl game that means shit, and they still really don't. But they play Ole Miss 2 years ago and get the brakes beat off of their asses.
Yeah, and I think to the point there to Trojan fight. That they got Pena from Syracuse. I mean, that was obviously a nice, good tamper job that they did there because he was not in the portal yet. And then obviously, Syracuse's head football coach Fran Brown even said, "Look, we're not going to pay you." $1 million to play, wide receiver here. But we'll see. At the end of the day, James Franklin certainly puts his hands in everything the offense does, which why he still does that when he's got a great coordinator in Andy Kotelnicki. The biggest thing that gets me too, the thing that gets me too is that they hired Jim Knowles from Ohio State. All of a sudden, everyone's like, "Oh, they're going to win the national championship." They've always had a great defense. They've always been known for defense because the Big Ten's known as a power running league. I mean, they've always had great defense. The question has always been under James Franklin: can they score fucking points?
They were a top 3 defense last year. Well, that's not, what are we even talking about? Yeah.
And people were bitching and complaining about Tom Allen. Like, Tom Allen was a great coach. Now, Tom Allen's a very good individual. I like Tom Allen a lot. That is a great individual. And I'm talking about, not stay away from coaching, just talk about the person. He's a great person. I think he is a great fit down at Clemson, man. I think he's going to do one hell of a job down there. But I mean, at the end of the day, the running back coach went to, what was his name? I saw that too. Oh, damn it. I can't remember his name.
I'll look it up. Go ahead.
But he left there as a running back coach to go to Notre Dame. Someone said, he's an idiot for leaving there to go be a running back coach at Notre Dame. Last time I checked, Bryce Love had some damn good stats. And guess what? Go watch that retape. Go watch the tape of the best run in that game. Bryce Love broke 4 tackles to get to the end zone. I mean, the guy is an absolute stud.
Jawan Sider is
Sider. That's what it is. Yeah. But Sider's going to be having a great time there. I think he's got a much better opportunity to grow in that organization rather than Penn State. I think Penn State, obviously he's not going to be an offensive coordinator ever at Penn State with Kotelnicki there. But I think he's going to have a much better job there. And I think, honestly, working for Marcus Freeman's a lot better than working for James Franklin. I
agree 100%. And Notre Dame had the best rushing attack all of last year, or one of them anyway. And I think that Penn State was another one that did. Kotelnicki's going to do a great job running the ball no matter what, because that's what he does. All those years that he was with
Kansas.
Yeah, with Kansas. And the coach is what I was talking about, because he was with him long before they even got to Kansas.
But, he was at Buffalo with Lance Leipold.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's their system, and Kotelnicki's done a fantastic job. That was one of the guys that was on the short list for me. If I was in charge of the hire last year at Oklahoma, it was going to be go get Kotelnicki or go get I like Will Stein a lot too at Oregon. What I mean? And I like
Penn State
and what he brings to the table as well. But I'm just saying those were the guys that, to me, veteran guys that are, that can take you to that next level. Though I think he's right there.
Yeah, and to Penn State's credit, I think they do have the best running back duo with Nick Singleton and Kayshawn Allen. But to their point, every time they love to run the football, but their passing attack is always bad every year. And also too, Drew Aller, that's great. He's able to be up on Rutgers, who's hasn't done shit in the Big Ten. It's been I think they were ranked by the Wall Street Journal as the worst realignment move in college football history. I mean, he'll play great against Minnesota. He'll play great against Iowa. He'll play great against Michigan State. That's great. But at the end of the day, when he goes up against good teams, he's had multiple issues. And very bad football games. I just don't know if he's there yet. I really don't. I don't know if he's that guy. People are calling him like the first number 1 overall draft pick. I'm like, guys, what did he do against good teams? I mean, we saw in the bowl game, in the playoffs, he didn't do shit. I got a lot of questions. He's got a lot to prove this year.
Yeah, because if they were going to beat Notre Dame, it was going to have to be from him and the receiving core, and they don't have it. But Jeremiah Love and Price along with him, as coach is saying it here at the bottom right now, they're legit. They're legit. They already had a really good running backs coach in Dalen McCullough as well. So I mean, they've done a great job. But yeah, they get another good one to come in there and take care of business. I think they're going to start with, talking about Notre Dame, they're going to start with the running game anyway. Jeremiah Love's going to do his thing. They've got 5 guys that could probably step in and be very good when needed. And now if CJ Carr is able to because they needed to get better at the wide receiver position. They already had a good one. They had a really good one already in Jaden Greathouse, but they added a couple of guys that looks like they could be ready to take that next step. We'll see how it goes, but I like Notre Dame as one of the favorites. What I was saying is the 9-game deal to me, I don't know that it's going to matter a ton. But this year with the 12-team playoff, I expect that I really feel like this is the first time that used to we could say there was 4, maybe 5 teams that could win the whole thing. I think there's 8, 9, 10 now that you could legitimately say they've got a chance to win the national championship this year.
I think as we go into week one, I think so. Yeah, I do. I think those can really end up being there, and I think the more continuity or the more teams that are added because of transfer portal, which has really been a really good thing in terms of distributing talent. But to your point, yeah, the 9 games. I just think now that they've gone to those 9 games, I think we're more than likely going to see a system next year where we see 16 teams. What I don't want to see. And if it did get to that point, the Big Ten's trying to get 26 to 28 teams. That's a little bit too much for me. I don't. For me, Jason, I've got a real issue with them trying to make this an invitational, and I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to get more Big Ten teams in so they can get more money. And I think when you look at the fans overall, I understand getting more and more teams in there, but when you're starting to do an invitational, you're ruining the fucking sport. It's not about almost at that point who the best teams are, but because it's going to happen. If you do a system, for instance,
it's going to turn into a brand thing.
Yeah. And if you, prime example, for instance, if you do 28 teams, they were talking about doing, it's like 7-7, 5-5, 2-2, and then you open it up after that. You're basically at that point, you shouldn't have 9-game conference schedules. You should have like a 12-game conference schedule, and then have each other just have it go right to the playoffs and face each other. And also, too, you shouldn't. You'd have to lose the conference championship games, which I would probably think isn't even a bad thing either. But
you're going to make the regular season not mean anything anymore.
Yeah, and for me, I loved the 8-game schedule because I love seeing out of conference games. There's teams you just rarely ever get to face. You're gaining more and more traction, especially college football. You face a lot of the same teams in your conference. Now they're growing more, so you probably have to face more and more teams. That's great. But overall, you want to be able to see out of conference games. Like when we went down to Tennessee and Tennessee came up here, that was fucking awesome. I mean, those games were so much fun. Thank you, and I agree, by the way.
That's not where we're headed with this expansion, though. The Big Ten's going the other way. You were talking about Cignetti. Look at Matt Rule. You're at
that shit was wild. I know,
and you're wanting to cancel all these games, and you've got bitch ass Lincoln Riley doing the same thing, trying to get rid of Notre Dame. That's one of the biggest rivalries in the game, period. And you want to lose that game because you're scared? Oh my God.
But also, too, to their point, what really pissed me off, too, is that when you look at the SEC and the ACC, they're always facing Power 4 opponents, usually multiple Power 4 opponents a year.
Sure.
Where the shit that Cignetti was talking about, like they're facing Kennesaw State, like Penn State, for example. We were talking about that the other day. They're facing Nevada, FIU, and Villanova. What the fuck is that? I mean, in what world is that SEC scheduling? What the Big Ten's mantra, SEC scheduling, where it's all FCS teams? Like, what are you talking about? Florida faces Florida State every year. Florida faces Miami every year. Oklahoma's facing out of conference.
CF2. That's what I'm saying. Florida State actually plays teams. It's not. I'm not saying anything bad about Florida State and their scheduling. They play anybody and everybody. But Florida, you've got at the top of the SEC. Now the bottom is going to be what it is. Your worst teams aren't going to play good against the best teams in the rest of the conferences.
That's every conference, yeah.
That's every conference. But the point is, like, if you want to talk shit about the SEC, but you're going to talk shit about those teams, the bad teams in the conference, you don't talk about the fact that Alabama and Georgia and Florida and now Texas and Oklahoma too, they're going and trying to play legitimate teams in their non-con.
And home and homes. They're not scared It's a lot like the ACC. They're not scared to face home and homes. Like the Big Ten stuff really just irks the shit out of me. Like that's why I'm a big ACC, SEC guy. I think that the way the ACC and the SEC does their business, especially with scheduling, is truly just great. I love the conferences. Well, like for instance, Louisville, Kentucky, Georgia Tech versus Georgia, Miami versus Florida. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on.
South Carolina and Clemson. South Carolina Clemson plays Georgia an awful lot of times throughout, a 10-year period. They're probably going to play Georgia 4 times at least.
Yeah.
These are rivalries, and this is where I was going with this to begin with. The biggest thing, there's a lot of things that people say is going to ruin college football. This is going to ruin college football, and that's going to ruin college football. You know what's going to ruin college football for real is fucking losing all these rivalry games.
Yeah.
Whether they're in your conference or not in your conference, and you're losing these rivalry games over the sake of fucking money.
Yeah.
When Matt Rule said, no, I'm not going to play Oklahoma, why the fuck would I do that? Oh, you know why? Because that's one of the oldest and best rivalries in the damn game.
Yeah, that game should still be being played, and that's on Mike Gundy. I mean, Ren Venables even said himself he'd play that game 100 times. 10 times out of 10. It's a shame, man. I think some of these schools are just, I think Oklahoma State saw that as a sign of like, well, we can finally stop getting beat by Oklahoma every year. I just don't respect schools that just don't.
Right? That's a Gundy thing. It's his record is shitty. It's 4-15 in his 21 years that he went against Oklahoma. He doesn't want his legacy to continue to be as shitty as it is, although he's not helping him by not playing it.
I can tell you this too, when he retires there and they get a new head coach, I guarantee you that game comes back. I guarantee you, because a smart coach understands that rivalries are important. And again, you know me, and the same thing. Me and you are very much alike on this. I mean, it's just rivalries are it, brother. I mean, it's like it's not the NFL. It just college football is built on that certain type of hatred for each other, where it builds up all the hype, all the emotions of it, the pageantry, the bands, that kind of stuff. That's why I love college football. I think that's why I don't look at just 10 teams. I don't look at just 50 teams. I look at 128 teams and see, man, there's some fucking value here. There's a lot of great stuff about college. That's why I like college more than the NFL. It's a shame, man. It really is. Just some of these coaches need to start waking up.
I agree. And I think that's where we are on it, is that I was glad. The reason that I was glad to see the SEC go to 9 was because if they didn't, you were going to see some of these rivalries go by the wayside. Auburn and Georgia. That's the oldest rivalry in the South. And that was going to have to go by the wayside because Auburn and Alabama have to play every year. It has to happen. The Lone Star Showdown between Texas and Texas A&M. It had been away for over a decade, which is ridiculous. That was not going to be a yearly game anymore either, because Texas and Oklahoma are going to be the yearly game. Now you're going to play everybody in the conference twice in 4 years, home and home, which I love. And then you've got your 3 that you can guarantee that some of these important rivalries, like, you're going to see Tennessee and Alabama is going to continue to be a rivalry that same time of the year that always has been. That's the cigar game, that third week in November or October.
Yeah.
It's important. If you don't continue doing these things, what are we doing? Like, this is what college football was built on, was that hatred between fan bases and schools that from what happened on the field. Great football games that, I think of the USC and Notre Dame one. I mean, you can go back to even just as, this hadn't even been that long, but go back to when USC was winning those national championships. Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart and those guys, they had the Bush push game in Notre Dame. What a fucking football game that was. We talked about just the Bush push. That was a great football game. Football game.
Yeah. I remember as a kid watching that game. I was up watching that shit all night. I mean, it just but then again, that's just Lincoln Riley. I can't stay. You know me. I can't fucking stand him, man. There's a lot of stuff from behind the scenes that people just don't know how that guy operates, and I can't stand it. But hey, I gotta hop off here, brother.
I kind of knew you were going to be short on time, man. I appreciate you coming in, JJ. We don't get you enough, man.
This is my favorite show. Trust me, I'll come on here anytime, man. Damn.
Love you,
I just got to make time. I've been so damn busy with traveling and with work and whatnot, but you guys are the best. Everyone in the comment section, obviously, Coach, love you. I'll see you on here next time. Everybody in the comment section, hit the like button, subscribe, do everything you guys always do. Truly appreciate each and one of you.
Hey, give our best to Austin too, man. I know he's out there getting after it, so tell him we love him.
I certainly will. He asked about you guys. He says, how's my Hall of Fame guys? I said, oh, they're the best.
Tell him to get his ass on the damn show one of these times. We'd love to have him.
I think when he starts the off season here, I think I'll be taking all my stuff down to his house down in Myrtle's Inlet, South Carolina, right down there in Myrtle Beach. So I'll probably get down there to see him, and I'll probably take my stuff, may do a show, get us on there and talk some ball. Because obviously he follows college football just like I do. He loves Pitt, but also he loves the SEC. So he loves the ACC and the SEC. So that's why we'll get him on here. It'll be certainly a great conversation.
Well, I don't know if you're going to be around the area, but I'll be there for the South Carolina game in It'll be after the Red River, so October 17th, I think. So
that's gonna be close because me and Austin were talking about going to to watch the South Carolina game. Dude, I'll let you know. Oh shit, that'll be something.
That'll be a blast. It'll be a blast. But I'll hit you up soon. Thanks a lot for coming on, JJ. We love you, man.
Anytime. Love you guys. Love you, Coach. Be good. I'll see you guys next time.
All right. JJ Kitchen, talking college football with JJ Kitchen. It's right in the description. If you're not a subscriber to his channel, get over there and become a subscriber. He's up over 1,000 subs now. He's monetizing everything. Love it for him. He has a great show, and he's great when he comes on here. I could talk with JJ all day. He's me and Coach's favorite guest that we have on here, for sure. Yeah, Coach, it's always good times. Always good times. We love that guy. All right. Georgia is going to finally go to College Station. Yes, and that was the thing about the SEC was because they were always preserving rivalries in the past, and I think they were probably going to continue to do this. You were going to continue to see that when they had divisions, they were preserving these rivalries, so you would end up having to where you only play X amount of teams every 4 or 5 years, or even longer. That was where it was headed. With the 9 game, it allows you to go ahead and get in those rivalries that you got to get in every year and still be able to play everybody in the conference, at least for now, every other year. Whenever I don't know what's going to happen with expansion, but I was glad for that part. I think it is signaling that, for better or worse, and we're already starting to hear that they're saying that the strength of schedule stuff is going to be a bigger data point on how you choose who goes where. Okay, that's going to happen. I would just tell you that that's a good thing, but I don't want to see them expand this thing too far. I don't love the idea of having X amount of schools from each conference. I think that you should. I like if we're going to expand to 16. Keep it as straight seeding. If you want to put the conference champions in, fine. Nobody else gets a guarantee in there. You got to be one of the best teams, one of the best 16, and leave it at that. Leave it at that. But if you're going to do that with the best 16, strength of schedule is going to matter. If they do it with just straight seeding, that's going to force the Big Ten to put their money where their mouth is and start playing some of these better programs in other conferences. And I think that they're fairly smart for the way that they kind of protect themselves from each other as far as your top brands are concerned in the Big Ten with the way things are. But I think that you can't get too big with this playoff because if you do, you're going to make the regular season stop mattering. If we go any higher than 16 teams, and I don't even care if they go to 16 teams, to be honest with you, but I think that that's happening. If you go bigger than 16 teams, though, you are devaluing the regular season by a long shot. You might as well just pick who the fuck you want in the playoff and start the playoffs in October now, because that's essentially what you're trying to do. I don't get it, and I think as big a part as I love the regular season. It has to matter, and if you don't look at it as some of these games at the end of the year, they are going to be your de facto playoff game. They are. Because you got big matchups in every conference at the end of the year. You think about the Iron Bowl. You think about, well, even just with Oklahoma these past 2 seasons, or this season and last season, they're going to be playing LSU at the end of the year. There's a very good chance that game is going to be for a spot in the playoff. It is. So if you look at it in the correct way, that is a playoff game. It's a chance for you to get into the playoff. So you're playing your playoff game right there. I think that's great for the regular season, and that's great for college football. So that's where I'm at on it. I want to see that happen more. Do a better job of scheduling non-conference games. Don't be afraid. Because here's the thing. The money the way it is, and the fact is you're not going to limit these guys' NIL money. It's never going to happen. So it's going to be the way it is. And if you're a Big Ten big-time program. And if you're a program in the SEC, you have more opportunity to get into the playoff than you ever did. If you're an ACC program like Clemson or Florida State or Miami, or you're any of the teams in the Big 12, you've got an opportunity to get in. But Clemson, Florida State, and Miami, they're making more money in the ACC, and they can get into the playoff all the time. I think they're stupid to leave. I really do. I think they're crazy to leave the ACC. Because right now, if you look at Clemson, 3 out of 5 years, they should make the playoff out of the ACC at worst. Same with Florida State, I would say, other than I'm not positive what's going to happen from here. But in a normal situation, that should happen. They're in such a big hurry to go to these new conferences. And I heard TJ Pittenger, and I love TJ, but he was going off about this yesterday about, that ESPN, they were going to the 9 games so that they can try to lock down all these playoff spots. And the games on the field had to matter. He was essentially saying that the strength of schedule can't be more important than wins and losses. That's fucking bullshit. Sorry, TJ, love you. That's bullshit. Wins and losses are only bigger if you're going to go by wins, and you're going to tell me that Indiana, and he didn't say this because he couldn't, that Indiana having 11 wins made them better than Ole Miss or Alabama or even South Carolina last year. I'm telling you, you're full of shit. If they're going to do this, make it a strength of schedule. If it's going to matter, okay, great. That's what's good. If strength of schedule really, really matters, that's going to force the teams that play shitty schedules. It's going to make Lincoln Riley's and the Matt Rules of the world and Kurt Signetti's stop scheduling those bullshit teams. Because guess what? If you're Lincoln Riley and you don't play Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is almost a shoo-in for a playoff as long as they're getting to that 10, 11 wins. And guess what? People that talk about their schedule that they play on normal years, first off, they're playing better schedules than a lot of those Big Ten teams. And guess what? They're not going to be able to schedule like that either, because it's going to get competitive for these spots. You better be scheduling better football teams from here on. You better be. Because all of this bullshit talk about that, the SEC was only playing eight in-season games. What are you fucking talking about? What are you talking about? The SEC plays everybody in the SEC. It's tougher. So they've got a better strength of schedule because they play better teams. Well, guess what? Now that they have the same number, now you don't have that excuse anymore, Big Ten. What are you going to do now? Because unless it starts mattering who you play and who you beat, then we're going to continue to water down this sport. And that's not what I want to see. That's not what I want to see. Going back to punishing the team that loses the conference champ. Whoa, where are we at here? Let me go back. Anybody who knows anything about that series knows that it's not as competitive as they would like to make it. A&M's the only one that doesn't want to play that game. But I think it should be played every year because it is a big rivalry. I want to see that game. Yeah, LSU's a possibility. Alabama's not. They have at least 3 rivals that they'll put in front of Oklahoma. That's not going to happen. But the good news is you'll play them every other year. So Oklahoma's is locked. I'm almost positive it's locked. Missouri, Texas, of course. The Texas game stays. I guess it could be LSU, but it's probably going to end up being Florida. Georgia's probably, let's see where we at. What happened to the KSU fans in that video? I guess they went on about their merry way, but everybody found out who it was pretty quick. What's up there, Bishop Frank? What's going to go back to punishing the team that loses conference championships, though? Look, again, I'd say this. Just because you make the conference championship, and we know that there's not more divisions right now, but let's just say on a normal year, on a regular old year, right? The way things are set up in the SEC, I think you're probably going to get more times than not, it's be like 11-1, 10-2, and then 11-1, 10-2 games. At worst, 2 10-2 teams playing for it. Now, if you're a 10-win team in the SEC, you're going to stay in that playoff talk, and then you're going to end up being. But if like last year, could have been Georgia and Texas A&M, and Texas A&M would have already had 3 losses anyway. But it could have been had they beaten Texas, right? That was the playoff game for Texas A&M, was playing Texas at home. That was your chance to get in. Because, I mean, they would have gotten in no matter what if they win that game against Texas. They didn't, right? They weren't gonna obviously get in at 8-4, but like that brought in, South Carolina. It brought Alabama back in, and it brought Ole Miss back in because they were all 9-3. But that didn't end up happening because you had a bunch of 10-2 teams out of the Big Ten that they were going to get there for. The way things happen in the ACC kind of messed with that too. Again, I will forever say that SMU was a terrible choice to be in there in place of anybody. No way they should have been in. That game in the conference championship game was the ACC's chance to get. I mean, that was their chance to get in there. They didn't need to in the playoff. And if they were going to get to it, probably should have been Miami. But anyway, I digress. Regardless, if you go sticking in a team like, that's 9-3 already, when they get to the championship game, you're going to tell me that just because they got to the championship game, they belong in the playoff? Because I'm going to tell you that's not true. Not in a 12-team playoff. In a 16-team playoff, maybe. But that's assuming that everybody's playing the same kind of schedules. And we know that's not happening. So don't tell me that just having more wins is more important than, if I have 3 losses on this Alabama team, or let's say Ole Miss. I know because everybody wants to say, well, Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's better than they've been in years. They lost to Oklahoma. Oklahoma was injured, but you're going to tell me that you can't lose to Oklahoma from year to year? Because everybody can. We know that. And people are going to see Oklahoma's going to be different this year. In the end, I think that you have to find a way to put the best teams in no matter what. And the way to really find out who that is to stop playing cupcakes. Stop it. And if you want to sit there and try to say that November cupcake thing, Trojan Fighter, I don't even want to hear it from you. That they can play that November cupcake if they fucking feel like it. They're playing 10 Power 4 schools. Everybody's going to be playing 10 Power 4 schools. And the only ones that weren't in the past were teams that weren't that good anyway. They weren't going to be a playoff team. You can't just judge by what the bottom is doing. You better be going by what the top teams are doing. And the truth is, the top teams in the Big Ten don't even come close to the SEC teams in who they play strength-wise throughout the season. They don't. Oh, I know you. I agree with you. I think y'all are going to beat the shit out of Miami. Their defense is better than it's been. I still don't think that I don't know. I don't trust Mario Cristobal in game. It's Woobity. Woo! Pour me another shot of whiskey. Me and Jack Daniels has a history. Yeah. Are you glad BV is going with permanent captains for the season instead of changing week to week? I knew that was coming down the line. I wasn't positive that it was going to happen this year. Yeah, I'm glad. I think that's a good thing. I think that he was doing that in the past because he didn't know who his leaders really were. Other than, I think last year it was pretty clear who they were, right? But I think that you need to. That helps with leadership. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that there's something to be said right? You know, it is what it is. Yeah, I don't care about what you're talking. There is no room because they're in 2026, West Virginia, Florida State, South Florida. Okay, that's 2 additional Power 4 programs. And then South Florida, I mean, Alex Golesh is one of the best coaches in the country. He almost beat Alabama a couple of years ago. To stay good with a fan base, it's a good question. I think that BV probably needs to win. He needs to win 8 to keep his job, I think. Okay. I don't think 8's enough with this talent that he's got. With this defense being what it is and him running it, and you got a guy like Mateer, you've got weapons like you have and running the right offense, I think that they probably need to win 9. I think that we need to win 9. Yeah. Yeah, Zoom Doof, I don't know who that is, but I think you're probably right. 9 is probably because of that whole, you know, the entirety of the schedule. I think even 9 for a Sooner fan is a tough thing to say. I think that 10 and 11 wins has been the standard, and that's the standard still. The standard doesn't change no matter what. Now, I think if you're being, you know, reasonable, if you're reasonable as a fan of what to expect, if you've got reasonable expectations, I think 9 is worthy because of the fact that they're playing Texas, Alabama, LSU, you know, along with South Carolina on the road. They've got Michigan coming to town. I mean, you got some people that think that Auburn's going to be very good. They definitely play a tougher schedule in the SEC than does Texas. And it's not really close. But that being said, it doesn't matter to an Oklahoma fan. It doesn't really matter that you're playing a tougher schedule. Go win. You're supposed to win every game, period. I think if you're being honest with yourself about where the program is, I think it's going back towards the standard, but it wasn't left to him in its standard place. You know, he didn't take over the same team, with the same level of talent on it that Lincoln Riley did when he became the head coach at Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley had a ready-made turnkey monster at his disposal, and he turned it into pretty shitty by the time he left and took 5-star quarterbacks left with him. You know, it is what it is. Yeah, but you can't go with boards. I mean, you can't go with what the people on the message boards are the crazies. We're talking about that's the fringes of every fan base, Trojan Fight. They're the minority of your amount of fans. Same with Twitter, by the way. I think that more times than not, if you're an Oklahoma fan, do you expect a lot of wins? Absolutely. But if you are a true fan of this program and you pay attention to what this program was going through before he got here and now that he's here, I think you have an expectation for them to show a significant improvement this season. And that's a fair expectation, by the way. I think 8 wins gets him to keep his job, but I think he's still in trouble if he only gets 8 wins, right? I think he's in trouble. But I think you have to be real with yourself and honest and realize that the roster that he's built right now is ready to go win. If you fire him after this year because they didn't win 9, if you fire him at 8, you better be ready to stay at 8 or less for a while now, because now a lot of that roster's leaving with him. That defense is no longer going to be what it was. And it hadn't been that long that Oklahoma's had a defense like this. We're talking, this is last year they were pretty elite. I wouldn't call them completely elite, but it's hard to judge it whenever you didn't have an offense. There was no complementary football going on. This year they're going to be an elite defense. They're a top 10 defense. I promise you that. I think they're the best defense in the country, but I know a lot of people are freaked out by me saying that. So I can easily guarantee you they're a top 10, right? And I do think they're the best defense in the country. That being said, go win the damn games. Go win the games. I can tell you that if they don't win 9, I'm probably going to be a little disappointed. I'm not calling for his head, but I'm going to be disappointed. As far as what Twitter and the message boards guys think, I'm not going that crazy because I understand that there's a lot of those crazy assholes that, yeah, they just want to fire whoever and they think that you can just flip a switch and you're back to being who you believe you're supposed to be at Oklahoma. And the truth is, that's not the way things are anymore. This is not 1985 with Barry Switzer. It's not. I still say, oh, you 9-3 on a bad day and 11-1 with a good. Yeah, I mean, do I see the ability to get to 11-1? I do. Am I predicting 11-1? You know damn well I'm not. You know damn well I'm not, because to me, predicting something like that when you haven't really seen that level of football be played at Oklahoma yet. That 10-win season, they were very good. They had a great game and beat Texas. But then we also saw them play some bad games after that. They lost 2 of their next 3 after Texas and almost lost the UCF game. You know, there were some backslides at certain times and in situationally that made you think, well, they're getting there, but they're not quite there. Last year, I don't put that on Brent Venables so much, other than I don't think that he fought hard enough to be able to hire the right offensive coordinator last year. But that's his own fault. That's it, and that makes it his own fault. That being said, do I think that he deserves to get fired over 8 wins? Absolutely not. Do I understand why there's going to be people that are disappointed if they don't get over 9 wins, me being one of them? Yes. Yes. The standard is different at a place like OU than it is at Kansas, than it is at Pitt. I'm just talking to JJ. I'm thinking Pitt. That's not the same expectations. But what did he just say? They better go win 9 or Narduzzi's ass is out the door. You know, the expectations are what they are for a reason. But you have to be reasonable and know where you are in your life of the program at the moment, right? You go hire another coach, and I don't care who you go get. They're probably 2 or 3 more years away from really being able to compete, at least 2 years, probably more like 3, before you get back to a point where you are right now, where you can go compete for a national championship. And most people, there's a lot of people outside of the fan base at Oklahoma that would tell you I'm fucking crazy for saying that they can compete for a natty this year. Out of my fucking mind. I'm not out of my mind. I'm looking at it with a clear head. And I'm telling you, they have the talent to compete for a natty. Am I going to tell you they're going to win one? No, because you got to go do that. Predictions don't mean shit. Go win the thing. And I'm not going to predict a new coach that's never done it to do it. He's been a part of championship cultures. He should be able to do it. I need to see him do it. And there's a couple of things that BV still does that makes me wonder. It makes me wonder. I'm not a fan of the way that it's always 100% full go in practices, that you think you have to hammer home their toughness at every fucking stretch. I think that the playoffs, the way to get to a championship, you need healthier people. And too much hitting is too much hitting. Too much exertion, it's going to be 100 degrees today. We need to practice hard. Fuck, dude, relax. It's a long season ahead. Don't wear them out yet. Now, I may be in the minority on that, and I don't care. Sports science is backing up what I'm talking about, and I'm not sure that he's ready to evolve in that sense. And that's a concern. That's a concern from you guys. It really is. I'm gonna drop the link in here if you guys want to call in. We'll do the last 30 minutes or so of make this a call-in show. Yeah, I know what the on three boards are saying, dude. I get it. Trojan fight. I get it. All right. Y'all call in and I'll put you into the to the deal. What's up there, Sooner Legends? Let's see. That's brutal. Would I rather have Cade Klubnik or John Mateer? For Oklahoma, I'm not saying that he's better than Cade necessarily. I think that John Mateer is exactly what Oklahoma needed. Let me explain that. Part of it is the fact that, yeah, he's been in this system with Arbuckle for this amount of time. This is year 3. He knows the offense very well. But and that's a part of it too, is that he's teaching it and holding guys on that offense accountable to learning it and learning what it is that they're going to be doing. He's hard on them, right, as a quarterback. The other part is that I think that this is a guy that carries with him a large amount of just, I mean, his confidence level is up here, right? Call it cockiness, arrogance, swag, whatever you want to call it. I think that that's what Oklahoma sorely, sorely needed, particularly after last year. But I even think that the years since Lincoln's gone, because what you knew about Oklahoma was they were going to put up points, right? And I think that 2 years ago, Levy's offense was fantastic with Dylan Gabriel. But as we just talked about, there was a couple of games that they didn't really look all that great. And I think that Levy struggled a little bit situationally with some things that he ran, and just a lot of weird play calls, right? The overall offense, when you look at what they put up numbers wise, yardage and scoring, they were top 5 in yardage and scoring. They were fantastic. But in close games, there was some times that he left a little bit to be desired. What that caused was a crack in that confidence, right? That Oklahoma's used to having. And I think that there's all that PTSD that we've talked about on a lot of these shows right now that Oklahoma fans have. A lot of that PTSD has been with that. And I think it's also been up in the program itself. I think there's some level of doubt that's crept in. A guy like John Mateer changes all of that. It changes it with the defensive side too, because he's coming. He's gonna compete with your ass. If I'm gonna say he's like Baker in any way, that's what he's like Baker, in that he carries a little chip on his shoulder for not being highly recruited, and he believes in his game, and nobody else really did. You know, before that, he was a 2-star. This guy comes in with a level of swagger that you haven't seen in a long time. And in order to get to that next level, to be a true championship contender, you need that. I think that he's inserted that into Michael Hawkins. I think he's inserted that into the entirety of the offense. And I think he's inserted that into the defense too. Last year, the defense made some mistakes at times trying to do too much because they didn't trust this offense to go do its job. Why would they? I think they trust this offense right now, and they haven't played a game yet. There's a difference in what you hear out of these guys. The Kendall Dolby podcast, when he had Mateer on, you could tell that Kendall 100% loved that guy and couldn't wait to see what's going to come with him. Couldn't wait. There's a level of confidence that's going to be with this Oklahoma team that you couldn't have had the last 3 years. You couldn't have. And that could be, with that defense being what it is, a strong kicking game, could be the difference in them winning the whole thing and not even making the playoffs. You know, certainly they're a bigger contender for the playoffs this year than ever, to me. They have a better chance to win a national championship than they have since Stoops left. That they are. And not because they're necessarily more talented all the way around, because they're probably not offensively, but defensively, they're damn sure more talented than they've been in 15, 20 years. That's where I'm at. Yeah, they can't go anywhere but up. Well, yeah, they can't go anywhere but up. But you have to be proficient in what you're doing too to win. As you know, if you're in Starch, if you're a real Texas fan, you know that there's some things that Sark needs to be better at for you guys to win a national championship. He's got to call better plays in the red zone and in the crunch time of games because he doesn't do great at that. If he were to get fired for 8 wins, get ready to revisit that. Well, I don't know that I would. I get what you're getting at. I don't know that I expect it to go back to that, but I think it turns tough on whoever you hire. I think it's a tough job for anybody if they fire him right now because you're going to lose a lot of people, right? Yeah, exactly. Awful hire. Now I think he was shoved down his throat, but I think that his contract said nobody could tell him who to hire for those positions, so he should have told Joe C to go jump in a fucking lake, which makes it his own fault. What's up, Smook? Did you guys see that? I put that in there. You guys, Smook, you can come in if you want anytime. You know that. Coach, are you still with me? Too long a season now, right? I would like, hey, come in here and talk about it, Coach, because to me, I feel like there's some things that old school. I love old school coaches as much as the next guy, man, and I'm all about all that shit. But I would just tell you that you've got to evolve, man. You've got to evolve. Does he need his Junction Boys lesson like Bear Bryant? Maybe. Something needs to change. You have PTSD from Farmageddon? Zofix. I love it. Yeah. It was wild, wasn't it? Yeah, so it's not going to be the Bama game. I'm not going to go to it. The guys that I was going to go with are going to end up going to the Miami game. So I guess that's during the week of Kent State. So I think I'll be going for that one, but I'm not going to the Bama game anymore. I will be at so I'll be at the opener this weekend, but no, I'm pretty sure I'm going to the Miami game because that'll be for Kent State, so I can stand to lose it. What's up, Zach? Pop in. All right, Legend, hold on real quick. Let me get you in here. Mike the Legend's with us on the line. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, Jason?
What are you up to, my man?
Just getting done with the gig tonight, fixing to head back home. About half deep.
Were you gigging tonight? Were you gigging, playing that guitar?
Yeah, I'm playing the fire out of it tonight, Jason.
Whip it
Hey, brother. What I was alluding to about the Blake and Schnellenberger era, because I see a domino effect of, like you said, about losing players, especially defense, because they're going to follow BB. And whoever they bring in, I just see another long rebuild. That's how I'm seeing it. Yeah. I mean, will it hit that bad? Probably not. But what I'm saying is it
allows you to get better faster is the point I was trying to make. I think this era, because of the portal, you can build quicker. But the truth is, anytime you get rid of your foundation, it's a restart. Now you have to rebuild the foundation first. Or you're going to end up like Florida State, where they've got to build the foundation now, or Norvell's in deep shit, right?
Right.
I don't know that it's going to work out very well for Norvell in that instance. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I tell you what, after that little clip I seen earlier or probably midweek of, John Mateer getting that deal with Beats by Dre, and he handed out all them. Dude, what that told me right there is we as fans haven't seen that in a while anyway. A quarterback leader going all out for his team. That tells me right there that especially that offensive line, they will go to the deepest depths of the fire for John Mateer.
Yeah.
Man, that did my heart some good seeing that,
Me too. Yeah, me too, man. And I think that he's done a lot to like endear himself to the team. When he was talking to Kendall Dobie, he was like, I didn't want to do too much coming in. But he definitely took over a leadership standpoint from the quarterback position, I think, as far as that offense was concerned. But they took to him fast, and I think a lot of it is because of you just hit that link there, Jack. You just hit that link, and I'll bring you in a minute. I think what you do is you look at that leadership from that area, but then you go out and you play hard and you show that's what he's done. He's playing with that same mentality that Baker Mayfield played with. I don't like to do the, let's compare to Baker or Kyler, this and all that. I don't like that. But I do think that his confidence level is very similar. That chip on his shoulder that, nobody was recruiting him because he was at Little Elm is big. And it's the same, very similar to what Baker was like because he had to go walk on twice. I'd have a big ass chip on my shoulder too. Baker was a bad dude. They were they believed in everything. When it came to Baker Mayfield, they believed that he would walk through a fire to beat you. They knew he would. And I think that the rest of this football team knows that as well. Baker did not have the luxury of the defense that, it was better than it was later, but he didn't have the luxury of the defense that what John Mateer has right now. But John Mateer has the ability to go out there and infuse that confidence in them in close games that I don't think that a lot of other players could have done. The original question was whether I felt like he was better than, or, would I rather have him or Klubnik? I don't know that he's more talented than Cade Klubnik, but I'd rather have him this football team. That's the answer that I would give.
And my last point, and I'll get out here so some of your other fans can hop in here, Jason, is I was so glad to see BV finally go with an all year captains instead of week by week. But you pointed out
you think that
you pointed out that the reason of that is we probably didn't have the Jimmys and Joes, for lack of a better term, to go a full season of full captains. But Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. Now that we got season long captains, will that not bring a better cohesion to the team?
I think it definitely because the fact that we know that the players voted on that, right? They voted who the captains were. So because they already know who their captains are, and if they voted these guys to be their captains, they're ready. That tells you that they were ready to follow them, right?
Yeah,
they were ready to follow them. I didn't see this. So who are they?
John Mateer, R. Mason Thomas, Grace. I think Grayson Halton. Troy Everett.
Makes sense.
RSJ. And number 10. I didn't catch the name on him. Whoever number 10 is.
Oh, that's Kip Lewis. Makes perfect
sense.
Kip
Lewis. Yeah, Kip Lewis. And 2 or 3 more, but it's on Facebook if you want to go check it out. But
just the names that you gave me. I don't really care. But just the names that you gave me, they're the leaders of this football team, no matter they're captains or not. So I think that's perfect to have them as your captains. I think that's absolutely a good. I think that any time that it's given to them in by virtue of this is a player-led team, and it's got to be a player-led team, right?
Yeah, right.
Everything they do is leading from there. If this team is leading, if the players are leading this team through these tough times, it makes it easier on Venables and all them to do their jobs as coaches, because the best teams don't have to be told what they need to do.
Right.
How
right.
hard they have to work, any of that shit.
That and another factor that factors into being a captain over the years that I've seen is you got to be a coach also out on the field. So the names that I mentioned, it makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
Well, Jason, starting next Saturday, I'm going to start having my halftime shows. If you ain't busy, you want to jump in with me like you did last season?
Well, I may be at a lot of games, so I don't know how often I'll do it. And like next weekend, I may be, yeah, possibly. But we'll see kind of how it goes. But if I can, it's hard. The thing is, when you're at games, getting a line is tough, especially for
right.
Dad. But
right.
if I can, I will absolutely. But depending on and some of the games, if I'm not there at the games, yeah, I'll definitely jump in because we're going to to it.
As always, on my Mike and Mike show with me, Mike and Bishop, if you're not busy, you're always welcome to jump on there. I got a permanent link set up for you. I still got your toothbrush in the house, brother.
You bet, man. Hey, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's I'm glad you're getting back into it and going all the time. So that's good. Yeah. Did you do your show this week? I didn't see it.
Yeah, I did my Mike and Mike.
I must have just missed it. But it's been kind of a crazy week. So
yeah, and you've been on the road. I tried getting a hold of you a couple of times. I understood when you was out mixing and mingling, brother. You got my phone number, man. You can call me anytime, 24/7, 365, including holidays, my brother.
I appreciate
And Jason, as always, I'm going to tell, if you ain't already subscribed to Hall of Fame College Football Media, give Jason some love, subscribe to him, join his channel. And when he's got Coach Roy Ball on, Jason has the best content on YouTube right now, especially for Oklahoma football, and it always does my heart good when Jason has me on. Jason, love you, brother.
Love
you. Have a good evening.
Have a good one, bud. All right. Mike the Legend. Make sure you go check out Mike the Legend. It's Sooner Legends podcast right here on YouTube. They're doing their Mondays, their Monday stuff always. So make sure you guys get over there, support the program, like and subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. Him and Big Mike go on in the afternoons on Monday after we do the morning show. So good stuff. And yeah, Mike, I'm glad to have been seeing you doing your gig in there again too as well. So good to see that. All right, wait. I'm looking at this. Oh, who's this Northside character? What you talking about, Willis? He said, I'm going back. Oh, yeah. K-State looked like Avery Johnson didn't improve this offseason. Will K-State give Avery Johnson the Will Howard treatment? I don't think that Avery played bad today. I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't think he played bad today. What is this? OU head coach will be downfall for what team? You're saying the OU's head coach, you're saying Venables is the downfall for the team? Because I don't agree. I think that there's some issues that we need to see him get better at. But I think that the talent level of this program is only what it is because of the head coach of OU. The recruiting, the standard of recruiting has gone way up, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, higher than it ever was going to be with Lincoln Riley. Lincoln could bring in quarterbacks and receivers and all that other stuff. Not all of them were that great. Spencer Rattler, I don't know. I don't buy it. I mean, we can talk about some of those receivers. I don't like bad-mouthing guys that were former Sooners, but let's just be real. What about the guy that, we had, what's his name, that was a 5-star that ended up at Missouri, and he was pretty good at Missouri. I don't think he was all that. The dude didn't even get drafted, and he was a fucking 5-star. Hazelwood was the same way. He liked to blame everything on everybody else. He didn't get drafted after he went to Arkansas either. I struggle with it. Mike is the man. Yeah, that's true. It can't just be about money. And I understand that people expect players and think players are greedy and everything right now. I think that that's it's a byproduct of narratives that go around that are, it's the program's trying to keep control going, right? But it has to be fair on both sides, number one, for it to work. And it has to fit into your culture, because if you start going, not everybody's going to be that you got to go get a guy like Michael Fasusi, right? They paid Michael Fasusi a lot of money. Now, that could hurt him and Foji. But had it been over a certain amount, there's a number that you get to that you kind of start losing the locker room that's already been there doing it, right? If they don't come in and be very good right away, it'll fracture your locker room. You got to be really careful about that. And look, here's the deal. This is all new to these guys, to these coaches, to the having GMs and all that shit at the college football level. This is a new deal. So there's a lot of people that are still working their way around it. And I think OU to some extent has been that. I think that if you look at a lot of fans that have been concerned with what Jim Nagy's doing, I think a lot of it has to do with we're still used to the old way. So you think we're not going to spend the money that you need to spend to be successful. I don't agree with that. I also think that Jim Nagy's doing things a new way, and it just worries people. I get it. And I mean, I'm not going to tell you that I'm immune to a little concern, because I get it. It's concerning. You haven't seen them win consistently like you want them to win. That's part of the deal. But I'm going to tell you this: if Notre Dame, who hasn't won a national championship since the 80s, can now be one of the favorites by most people's standard, there's no reason why you can't get right back there. But the money part will correct itself because of the fact that boosters are only going to spend so much on certain NIL guys, and there is a salary cap as far as rev share is concerned. So at some point, everybody's going to get forced to work within a budget. They are. And if you're not working on other ways to get the best players in the country, or guys that fit your program and can be the best players in the country, then you're not doing right. Because if you try to do things the way that they've been done for the last 20 years, then you're going to get 20 years behind, because it's not the way things were done for the last 20 years anymore. Nick Saban left the game for a reason. It's not the same way that he turned Alabama back into the dominant program in the country. It doesn't work that same way anymore. And so that's why he's gone. Now, I think Alabama is still right there. I think that Kalen DeBoer is one of the best coaches in the country. The things that he has to evolve there, I think he's doing a pretty damn good job of it. We'll see. I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but I could be. One can never tell. Oh, you could recruit at a higher level. How do you know? What makes you say that? Northside? What makes you say that? Because right now, they're where they are in the rankings. They're where they are in the rankings right now because they just went 6-7, and there's everybody out there saying that Brent Venables is going to get fired. So they can negative recruit the shit out of all these kids and say, hey, why the hell would you go to Oklahoma? He's not even going to be there. The guy that's recruiting you won't be there next year. You're not going to take that. You're not going to go there. I don't know. I don't even know exactly. What is this? I don't I want to see OU dominate at SEC the way OU did in the Big 12. You want to see that. But okay, fine. If you want to see that, here's what you have to do. You have to be patient. Number one. I know that's a hard word for fans. Patience is important, though, here. If you're baking a cake and the instructions tell you it takes an hour in the oven for it to be done and you take it out in 30 minutes, it's not going to be ready yet. Oklahoma's not ready yet. What does that mean? Yeah. Right. Stoops was there for 17 years, brother. 17. And out of those 17 years, he won what? 12? Then Lincoln won the other 3? 11 and 4, and Lincoln won 4? That's pretty fucking good. But you had continuity. And he also didn't have to deal with the transfer portal or any of that other shit. It's easy to sit here and act like it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. You have to evolve and figure out how it works today. Because guess what? There's a lot of programs that are out there on the same level of Oklahoma or better. Yeah, and you know what, Trojan Fight? They're up to 24th on 247. They were in the 40s a few weeks ago. That's right. They're in the top 20 on 3, and they were higher than that, than the 40s, I think, 2 weeks ago. Here's the deal. Michigan game, they've got more. Mason was talking about this the other day. There's more 2027 5-star recruits than the guys that are going to be at the Michigan game on visits just because of that game. It's the most star-studded recruiting overall bunch of guys that he's ever seen since he started covering recruiting. There's more big-time talent coming to the Michigan game than ever. This is what tells you they are recruiting just fine. Just because you may not know who it is necessarily doesn't mean nothing. I'm going to tell you another thing. That guy, go back and watch the video of of Christian Moore that I did this past week. He's no stars. He's a top 100 type of talent, but he doesn't have any stars. Oklahoma's probably going to get this guy. Nobody knows who he is out of a little small, or it's a big school in Alabama, but they haven't been a big time program. Nobody knows who he is. This kid is legit. 6'2", 220, ready to rock and roll, fast, twitchy, plays the edge. He's 6'3". He's an edge guy or a linebacker. Nobody knows who the hell he is. I promise you he'll play. He'll be good if they get him at Oklahoma. There's guys like that. Javonte Gibson didn't have any stars whenever he was coming out of high school. That's why he ended up playing in the HBCUs at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Wait till you see what he's like when he gets on the field this year. Stars don't mean everything. Stop looking at the stars. What you really should be looking at more than anything is if you're looking at a player on one of these fucking sites, don't look at the stars, or look at them and then go look at who's offering them. Who's offered them a scholarship? Who else besides my team? If they're a bunch of Utahs and, Utah State, UNLV, they're maybe, I don't care if they're a 5-star or not. If you look and see who, like talking about, who's the last guy they were talking about? He's a 3-star guy. Oh, the guy from Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas. He was a 5-star a little while back, but they've dropped him all the way to a 3-star on these recruit services. I don't know why. I don't even care. Guess what? Every major program in America has offered that kid. I don't give a fuck how many stars he has. There's a reason why they all want him. That's what you have to look at. You've got if you're just looking at stars, you don't know shit about recruiting. So you should shut up when it comes to who they get. Because, and the other thing is, Boganowski said this on the show a couple of times. He said it. Even being the dad of a big-time college football player, playing big-time college football himself, being around the game, he's like, these guys see things that I wouldn't think. There's levels to this shit. The things that I might look at, Coach Roybal may not even look at that shit. He'd be like, yeah, he's pretty good at this, he's pretty good at this, but you're full of shit. He ain't that fucking good, Jason. You know what? I trust him. Coach Roybal tells me somebody's not good. He probably ain't good. He's probably not good. Because he's seen and sent guys to every major program in the country. And he's coached guys in college. He knows what they look like. These guys at Oklahoma, every one of them, except for maybe EJ and Arbuckle, have been a part of a championship level team at somewhere and have seen championship level college football players. They know what the fuck they look like. That's all I'm gonna say. Tough Knuckles, what up? Hey, Coach Ricks, what up? Hey, man, we've got the I just put it back in there again. The link. Pop in. Who's calling in? Come on. Okoye, yeah. Danny Okoye, he turns into a top 100, but not until after Oklahoma had him locked up. And after he went to the Alabama camp and Coach Saban was drooling over him. Look, I think it's all well and good for you if you get a bunch of 5-star guys. But again, you got to remember that some of the dudes that turn into 5 stars, they turn into 5 stars because of who recruits them. It's not because 247 and On 3 and these guys are actually out there fucking looking at them all. They adjust to the best coaches in America. This is how it is. Mike McKinley, yeah, he was. Yeah, Mike McKinley was a bad dude. He also coached the guy that won the Outland Trophy at Nebraska. Damn it, I always forget his name. Aaron Torres? Aaron Torres, I think, was his name. Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. He had, one of my favorite guys, and he found him in the damn hallway at Skyline. Stop, Norman. What was this? Norman. Hold on. The best bowler from Oklahoma is subjective, but a leading candidate is. What are we talking about bowling for? Oh. He's coached guys. Anyway, Coach Roybal's coached a lot of guys that were very good at a lot of places, man. A lot of places. So his what's the guy that he coached that? Antoine Baker Hughes went to Texas, was Ricky Williams' roommate, defensive end guy, had a cup of coffee in the league. You want to talk about an athlete? I watched the dude in flip-flops beat his running back at Hobbs in a foot race easily. And this guy was a freaking edge dude. And that running back was one of the fastest guys in the state. And Antoine blew past his ass. And he didn't even make it in the league. He didn't even make it in the league for very long. He had a cup of coffee. That dude was a stud. Straight up. And then what was the guy that was on the off? Coach, are you still in there? I was trying to remember the other dude's name. From the who can name the offensive line from the national championship team, the last one? I'm going to look for the roster because I know that this guy was coaching with him too. Here we go. Five-star, and he's playing at UNLV. Yeah. Well, you remember that quarterback that was supposed to be going to Oklahoma? Then when Lincoln ended up going to SC, then he goes to SC. Then he was at Boise. Now he's the starter at UTEP. It's different. It is different. What the hell was that kid's name? Kempnick. Was it Kempnick? I think it was Kempnick. Offensive lineman. Pretty sure that's right. I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway, nobody wants to call in? Running out of time now. Malachi Nelson, that's who I was talking about. Correct. Yeah. Again, not all these, and look, some of these guys are busts. And if you think about it, aside from Adrian Peterson and Gerald McCoy, Oklahoma's history with 5-stars is pretty iffy. You know? The receivers that Lincoln got, the 5-star guys, I mean, neither one of them were very good to me. I mean, some were better than others. I guarantee you both those dudes, both of those 5-stars that he got in that class, neither one of them could touch Marvin Mims. Neither one of them could touch Marvin Mims. And he was a 3-star. So, just saying. Just saying. Trojan fight. What are you expecting out of? Give me your USC prediction. What are they going to win this year? I want to hear it. OU's history with 5-stars. Yeah, I mean, there's, if you look at who their 5-stars were, their highest rated guys, 247 always has that. And I mean, Hazelwood was no. If you look at hold on, let me look at some real quick. Beat team, football recruiting, team rankings. Oklahoma is now at 24th. Their best ever. Michael Fasusi went to number 3 all time in rankings. Caleb Williams obviously was a .9969. Fasusi was 9977, and then Rhett Bomar 9982. We all know about what happened with Rhett. AD, he was a .9996. He was almost a perfect athlete. That's pretty amazing. Jaden Hazelwood, .9966. Not drafted. Caleb Williams, yeah. I mean, but he didn't stay. But he's the number 1 pick. So that, you can't say he was a bust. But let's go back to, DeMarcus Granger. He ended up playing at what? For Seattle for a while. I mean, We'll see what happens with Fasusi. Tommy Harris was a stud. Hazelwood's still not playing. He's not playing anymore. Jackson Arnold remains to be seen, but doesn't look good. Stoney, I still think he's going to be very good. Jeremy Calhoun. Anybody want to talk about Jeremy Calhoun? Spencer Rattler. I saw somebody on Twitter said hot take was they were going to go 5-0 and he was going to be the starter. That was very funny to me. Don't you shut up. Don't come in here talking bad about AD. That'll get you booted out right now there, Dole. That's a timeout. You're going to go and think about what you just said, buddy. Come back in talking shit. I ain't having it. Oh, that's not good. 8-4, and I'm being realistic, he says. Okay. Funny how there's no Iowa State fans in here. We don't talk about them. We don't talk about them very much. Yeah, Mims is from Texas. He was a Texas guy. All right. Hold on real quick there. Oops. Welcome into the show. Our guy from Coaches Talk. Well, maybe if I can get it right here. I'll just do it like this. Cancel. Where is he? Oh, I see where you are. Here we go. What's up, Coach Ricks? How we doing, man?
What's going on, big dog?
Nada. Just trying to fix all this. I was using this. The way that I would bring people in was just to like stick them behind me so that you couldn't see them.
Oh, you good?
You got the camera up and ready, man. Pop in, talk. What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, we just got back from Virginia, man, and saw that you was online. I was like, oh shit, he's online. What's up?
Yeah. What were you doing in Virginia?
Man, we had to go to Virginia Hampton, Virginia, Michael Vick's homeschool high school. We had a seminar, man, for 150 inner city kids. So we had to jump down there, man, do a little seminar with some coaches from here in Charlotte, man. So it was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
So
and that area where he grew up, man, produced some ballers.
Dude, hey, look,
Bubba Tuck and Freak.
There's some. Hey, dude. Hey, remember this name, Nicholas Thomas. Okay. 6'4", 235-pound wide receiver, Megatron 2.0. Crazy. And then Michael Vick got a nephew that's a quarterback. Crazy as hell. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, and he's coaching one of those schools around there, a JUCO around there somewhere, isn't he?
He's oh god, we were just talking about it last night.
Or State or something like that.
Crap, Norfolk. No, hold on.
Norfolk State. That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty badass. I'm excited. Man, I'm excited to see how that goes. And if you know he's going to be able to recruit kids.
Dude, just his name alone, he's going to be able to get kids. Yes, Norfolk State. Yep. So, dude, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be insane, man. But that's a testament, man, to some of these coaches, man, coming back, man, giving back to the community, man, coaching at some of these schools, man. That's pretty what's up. That's what's up.
It is. Damn it, this damn camera. Keep going. Something's wrong with this stupid dummy battery thing that I got in. It keeps on fizzing out.
Oh, you cool, man. It'll fix itself.
I'm gonna have to switch it. What has Neilio checked in? Is he okay? He has not checked in, and I'm a little concerned. But he's probably pretty pissed off about them losing that game. K-State losing.
Man,
about that. Do you see all that shit?
Man, look, that's
Avery's dad and brother were fighting and shit outside the.
Hey, we had to back that up. We had 4 games the first week of high school football. We had 4 games. We had 6 ejections. 6 for fighting. 6
in the game or what?
In the game.
Oh, okay.
In the game.
Johnson's family was fighting outside the
Yes, I saw that shit, man. Had him in the headlock, man. And I'm like,
Pops was not playing, dog.
No, hey, man, look. I tell people all the time, man, you got to be careful, man, with people and their kids, man. They are a whole different breed. Parents. What started that? I didn't get a chance to really see what started that.
I haven't seen what started. I was looking before the show started to see if they had come up with any. There wasn't any explanations that I heard of. To me, if it's his older brother, he probably said some shit about something that happened in the game, or maybe he said something about Avery, and I don't know. But Avery had a good game. It's like he had 276 and 2 touchdowns passing, and had another one on the ground. I mean, I thought Avery was fine. I think that I don't love Chris Klieman in certain situations. Again, he doesn't seem to step on necks, man.
He don't. It's like he wants to just prolong something or just barely get by. And you can't do that in college football these days. Everything has changed. The landscape has changed.
He gets a lot out of who he can get, you know. But when Dylan Edwards going down did not help them either.
No. And see, I recorded that game because I was going to watch it when I came back. I heard more about the damn fight than I did about the damn football game.
Yeah.
That's all you heard.
There we go. I think it's back. Dylan Edwards got hurt on a punt return, fumbled it, but he got cracked. And so that was the first touchdown they gave up, but he didn't come back in after that.
Well, shit, the first 3 minutes of the ball game was trash. Turnovers, fumble. I mean, it was just ugly.
That happens over there too, man. I mean, shitty field. They don't know what a field should be like over there. It's not the same. I know Coach was talking about that whenever Notre Dame played there a couple of years.
Excuse me.
He didn't like that the way that the field conditions were a little shaky, and he was there. So, you know, I don't know exactly what that has to do, but and also is you're still trying to work shit out. Yeah. You're used to not playing a conference rival at that in your first week of the season.
Yeah,
I thought that was I didn't love the idea, and for that matter, Neilio wasn't very happy about. He's our K-State dude that's always in here, so Neilio was like, I don't know, I don't love it. I think it hurts him. I don't think neither one of them's dead for the conference, but I don't know that I believe either one of them is going to win the conference either. After because it takes some time to get back on your feet after a trip like that. That's a long fucking way.
Man, look, Dublin, Ireland. That's shit. That's
man.
Now, do you think what took place is going to hurt future games there?
The fight, nah. Everybody fights in Ireland, shit.
Well, yeah, drinking and everything, the beers and everything.
Flowing, dog.
I think they really they enjoy that and everything, the fights and everything. But I just think it just looked bad for the Big 12.
Hey, it's not a good look for K-State, and it sucks for Avery because it didn't have shit to do with him. You know, he played his ass off, and I mean, it wasn't about him that they lost, but that's not a good look. That you go and it's there's another byproduct of social media being what it is. It turned it into something that it wouldn't have been. I mean, maybe you'd have known about it, maybe you wouldn't have, but you probably wouldn't know about it like this. It's where it's plastered all over everything. Hell, I even put it up on the screen here a little while ago. It was there. So I don't know, man. It kind of is what it is, but I don't know. I hope it does because I heard Bob Stoops saying that he'd love to see Oklahoma do something like that. And I'm like, what's wrong with you, coach? I don't want to see Oklahoma going over there.
No,
I don't.
Crazy. That's crazy. Look at that, man. They
were getting after
crazy as hell.
Mm-hmm. And Pops was the one on top. He was whooping his ass.
They were. Hey, I saw the video, man. I'm like, what the hell?
But
so it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. And let me
ask you this: since Texas and Oklahoma left, does the Big 12 really look good at all?
Well, I'm not going to do the coach thing. Coach,
no. Pertaining to there's nothing sexy about the Big 12 no more.
Well, I would agree with that. I think that CU is helpful for them, right? I think that having Coach Bryant there is
his name
big.
Yeah.
It's big. It helps. It helps it get something. But I do think that there's some good programs. There's no marquee program in the league though right now to carry to carry the conference, because I think that in order to get to be you have to have a real contender for a championship that is in there. And that, let's say you need two teams. So like say it's Utah and K-State or Arizona State or whatever, but Arizona State isn't a power either. It's not a real brand, a big brand, right? I mean, it's been in a power conference, but they've never been a big time team. If they could get into the playoff 3 out of 5 years, maybe, really contend for a championship, that's what you got to have. But I don't know. I think that it's a bunch of decent programs it's a highly competitive conference. I think it's a fun conference because of how competitive they are with each other. But I don't know that that's good for the league, that they don't have a team that can really say, yeah, we can go win a natty. Because I don't think there is a team that can win a natty in that league. I don't. And I don't give a shit how much money Texas Tech spends. I don't care. I don't see them as a real contender. I don't give a shit that they're spending all the money. And until they play for a Big 12 championship, they're not a Big 12 championship level team.
No.
To me.
I don't see no one in the Big 12.
I don't either.
I mean, I like Baylor this year, but really don't know how Baylor's going to be until after the first game.
Yeah, I don't think Baylor can carry that conference.
No.
I think K-State is probably the closest to being on the field. We can carry this conference, right?
Yeah.
We've seen them do that, be a real contender in the Big 12 back when Oklahoma and Texas were there. They were still one of those programs that every 3 or 4 years they could put a team on the field that could beat everybody's ass.
Yeah.
Right? But aside from that, I don't really know who else is like that. I think Matt Campbell's a good coach. I think that he's done wonders at Iowa State because they've been dog shit for 150 years up until he got there, right? Got to give him a lot of props for what he's done there. But I don't think that they can carry that league. I don't think they need at least one or two, though, that are going to be there all the time and they can get to the semifinal, whatever, something.
Yeah.
So, can Baylor beat Auburn? Can Baylor beat Auburn? I think Baylor can beat Auburn.
I think, yes.
Should they be able to beat Auburn? No. Can they? Probably. Because of Jackson Arnold, though. And because they don't have a great situation at quarterback. If they have to bring in Deuce Knight, I don't know that it gets a lot better than it is for Jackson Arnold, because Dave Aranda's going to put him in a blender.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Baylor's okay. I think that I like their quarterback, and I like Aranda as a defensive coach. I don't love him as a head coach, really, but I don't know. I don't look at Baylor as being a program that's going to carry that league. And I think that that's what they need, Coach. That's just my opinion. I think you need somebody that can compete at the highest level, at the highest level, recruiting, everything. And I just don't see that being anybody in the Big 12. ACC has Clemson. They have Florida State. They have Miami. We've seen them all do it, right?
Yeah.
They can carry the ACC. They're not going to be in the ACC a whole lot longer, but they can now, right?
Yeah.
So that they don't have that in the Big 12. They don't have that.
I don't think anybody was really excited about week 0. There wasn't really anything that, I wanted to see about Western Kentucky, but other than that, I really wasn't really caring about week 0. Everybody's trying to wait till next week.
Yeah, well, week 0. Farmageddon it's a nice little starter game for the college football season.
Yeah.
Week 0, that's a cool game. UNLV almost got beat by Idaho State. Kansas blew out Fresno. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I saw that game. Yeah.
Kansas blew out Fresno. If Jalen Daniels is healthy, Kansas they're a problem this year if he's healthy. They won their last 5 last year after they started 0-5. So it was like, they and I think Coach Leipold's one of the better coaches in that conference too, by the way. He
shot me tonight. You up 31-7. Why is Daniel still in the damn ball game in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, as breakable as he's become.
That was crazy. I mean, you can't be trying to stat chase. You can't be trying to do that and then get your main quarterback hurt for what? You up 31-7. Game is definitely in hand. Put his ass on the bench. Because if he get hurt, y'all done.
There's no doubt about it. Without Jalen, they're in deep shit.
Yeah, so
I don't think they're going to win the conference with him. I think they're a contender for the conference with him healthy. If he's not in the game, they're not. But I don't know that they win it anyway.
Wow. Bazoo says Auburn by 24. Shit, what you smoking?
Talent-wise, here's the thing. I'm not sure about their offensive line. They're not sure about their offensive line. Coach Smook was talking about it on his show earlier. I don't think they're sure about their offensive line. But what you do have is a really good defense. Their defensive line is legit. That's a good equalizer as far as that goes. Now, their receiving room is probably the best in the country right now. It's right there anyway. They're legit. But if you don't know a quarterback that's going to get them the fucking ball, it don't matter.
Thank you. I was just getting ready to say that. It just don't. Which Jackson is going to show up?
We only know one. We only know one.
There you go again.
I'm just saying.
Get off Jackson, man. He might have changed, Jason. He might have changed.
I'll believe that when I see it.
I doubt that shit, though.
When I see him actually throw the ball with a guy down the field, then I'll believe in it. Until then, I don't know.
Dude, did you see how many views that damn video has right now?
Which one?
Check that shit out. The one with Jackson with Hugh Freeze throwing his damn hat down about Jackson.
Oh, dude, I can only millions.
That shit is going viral.
Oh yeah. I don't think it's been all bad for him, by the way. I think there's been some decent times for him in those practices, and I think Hugh's trying his ass off. I think that the problem is that the bad stuff that gets out isn't good. I was talking to Jake Crane about it the other day on the show that I had, and he's an Auburn guy. His dad played at Auburn, and they've been an Auburn family forever, but he thinks that it's not as bad as everybody says it is. And like some of the stuff that he's been putting out there about 3 different guys calling plays, which is stupid. I think that the worst look wasn't even, I don't even care about him throwing his hat and yelling at Jackson. I think that's probably a good thing. You should be yelling at his ass if he's fucking up. Right. But when he says stuff like telling his defense to back off his quarterback during practices, through the media, that's ridiculous. What are you doing?
Yeah.
If that's a conversation at all, it's got to be had behind closed doors with your leaders of your defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the defense is the best part of their football team, though. So I don't know. They could. I could see. Look, there's a world that they do beat the shit out of Baylor. I don't know that I buy that they're going to.
Yeah.
I don't know that I buy it, but
this is what a certain player, I'm not gonna say no name, is down here in Charlotte. Other blank expressed concerns about Arnold's fundamentals and decision making in high pressure situations during his time at Auburn. That little statement came from Cam Newton.
Yeah.
So
Cam is not high on him. I've heard.
Oh no!
Not high on
Oh
and the thing
no!
about Cam is he doesn't have a filter. So
oh no, he gonna say what he supposed to say. I mean, but are we gonna? I can't use that word. Are we gonna stop PSing, footing around about certain things? Are we so politically correct that we can't say what we really want to say about certain people?
Well, nowadays they're all making money out front. Everybody knows that they're making money. Now they're completely and fully open to it. You can treat them. I used to have a problem with going too hard in on a player in college because he's a kid. You know, they're not supposed to be making money, even though we know they've always gotten some level of money, depending on what kind of player you were. But truth be told, it was different. Now, because of the fact that they do demand this high amount of money to get them, and we know that they're paying them, and we know what college football is making in money, you know, it's open season on them, you know, for the media and everybody else. And that's why it's like, and I mean, for some people, it's always been that. Yeah. You're trying hard to understand it. You mean to the SEC, we're not welcome? Of course we're not welcome. They don't want us there.
That was the biggest topic tonight because, you know, I wore my OU hat in there, Norfolk, and that was the biggest question. Biggest question.
They kept asking you about Oklahoma.
About Oklahoma. That was, and which rightfully so. I mean, next week, everybody's so anticipated about what John Mateer is going to do, what Arbuckle's going to do.
Yeah.
Is the offensive line going to hold up? You know, what's JJ going to do? Is he going to be playing? I mean, it's all these questions, and I'm like, damn, I come here.
Sounds like he's ready to rock and roll to me.
Dude, look, I thought I came here to talk about Virginia high school. It was more questions about Oklahoma. What it is like the 115 coaches. We all had a desk. Yeah. We all had our people, our team, and we were just answering questions about certain things and certain recruits coming up. Every question was about Oklahoma, the offensive line, Brent Venables. I mean, I was shocked. I'm thinking there's going to be about Charlotte, schools, officiating. You know, it was more about Oklahoma.
A lot of Clemson folks around there, though, so they know BV well, you know?
Man, look, that's the one thing that I keep hearing from Clemson players and fans. Oh, he's going to get it turned around. We're not worrying about that. They said it took a little bit of time for him to do that in Clemson, but it was a little bit easier because Clemson was already pretty much running the ACC. Florida State was on a decline a little bit.
Right.
Pittsburgh.
They weren't the same when Coach Bowden before he left.
No. Once he left and everything, man, the landscape changed a little bit. Recruits didn't want to go to Florida State no more. Everybody wanted to go to Clemson. Clemson was a hot, sexy name. Yeah. And plus with Brent Venables running the defense that he ran at Clemson, it was just, you know, South Carolina wasn't what South Carolina is now. So
what is South Carolina now in comparison, though? Because
they just got a famous coach's son's name.
Right. Yeah, but Spurrier had South Carolina humming pretty well. I mean, they still weren't going to win a natty, but they were better than they had been before that. You know what I mean?
They say this about Spurrier. They had to hire someone. They had to hire a famous name
while he was still able
to come there.
Yeah.
Wasn't nobody going to nobody going to South Carolina. Wasn't nobody really going to South Carolina.
No.
I mean, you know, so after Clowney left, who's been besides Sellers now? So between Clowney and Sellers, you see that big ass time gap?
Well, yeah. Well, Nick Harbor. But the thing about Nick Harbor, they got him in the wrong position. He ought to be
exactly.
And the thing is, they only got him because they let him play receiver. But here's the thing: they would have been better off not getting him and letting him go and be a defensive end at Georgia or wherever or Alabama, because they were going to make him be that. I'm still not convinced that Harbor's. They said, well, he didn't run track this year. He's going to be ready to go. Who's to say? He's not that good of a receiver. Coach I's son, his nephew. Coach I's nephew is Mazio Bennett, freshman kid. He was pretty good last year. Pretty good receiver. He's their best receiver. It's not Nick Harbor. It is not Nick Harbor.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they have enough there. And as much as I like Lenoris, I don't think that he can carry them to anything. The reason they won as many games as they did last year was because of that defense.
Defensive
and
line.
9 out of 11 are gone. Coach Smooks this morning goes, well, but some of those guys that were on that defensive line and, that played, they were getting a lot of those rotation snaps are still there. Okay, but that was depth. They had depth then. Where is that at now? I don't know. I don't buy South Carolina, bro. I do not buy them.
Here's the thing. If South Carolina defensive line was so good, why aren't they being mentioned in the same breath as the Oklahomas, the Alabamas, the Georgias? If they still have that. They don't. I have not heard one thing.
There's a few people that have them ranked, and they're ranked, but they're not. There's some people that are wanting, I've heard a few of the guys from around the SEC media type, YouTube media, whatever.
Yeah.
Like Chris Marler really likes them. He covers them, but he's now in Louisiana. But he swears that they're going to be what they were last year. I don't believe it. No. I'm going to have to see that first. I know it's a tough place to play at nighttime, especially to go play in the Willie B. I got to see you do it again, though. And here's the other thing. Beamer wins when he's, when they think they suck, then he'll win. Right?
Yeah.
But when there's expectations like there is now, they gag all over themselves. And I don't think much of Shane Beamer. I'm sorry. I don't think he's that good, bro. I just don't think.
Jason, when you get here, you're going to see. Mm-hmm. It's you. You get to South Carolina and everything, man. You go into the inner city. The stadium is pretty much downtown Columbia.
Right.
It's nothing around it.
No?
Nothing around it.
I thought they've been building it up around there. No? I've been down to one of the time.
The girls' basketball team.
It's been a long time since I've been to Columbia, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't think. I think it's definitely women's basketball has it going on because of Dawn, but
all the surrounding is being built because of the girls' basketball team to make it sexier for the recruits to come play basketball.
Sure.
Let's just keep it real. Ain't nobody coming to play ball for Shane Beamer.
Yeah, and I think it's tough for them too because who are you going to get to go coach at South Carolina? I think if they were smart and fired Shane after this year, if they don't do it, like if they don't do something big and go to the playoff and they were to fire him and they won't because they keep giving him an extra year if he has a year like last year, which was 9-3, still want that big a deal. And then from what we know now, since the Michigan cheating, they gave all the information they had on Tennessee from that year. And that year that they beat Tennessee with Spencer Rattlers because they had their playbook, their calls. So nobody's really talking about that, but Beamer and them were cheating, and that's why they won big over Tennessee that year. And if it wasn't for that, even then, that was their only big win. They beat Clemson too that year. But okay, Clemson wasn't that good. I just don't see it. He's had 2 decent seasons, and they're acting like he's rehung the moon. And the truth is, if you were to get rid of him at a time when they've got a pretty good base of recruits, because he does pretty well recruiting, if you were to get rid of him at the right time and bring in a real coach then, you might have a chance to move up a little bit. Otherwise, you're fucked. I just don't see it, man. I don't even see the attraction to that school.
I used to live there, so that was the main reason why we got the hell up out of there. It ain't shit to do there. It ain't nothing to do in South Carolina. Nothing to do in Columbia. I'm being honest. The mall is on the outskirts.
As far as like lots of golf and lots of cool, it's pretty.
Great golf courses. Great golf courses. Now, don't get me wrong about that. Great golf courses.
Yeah.
If you're into that. But other than that, even the damn mall is on the outskirts of the damn city.
Right.
Because the damn mall don't even want to be there. So shit, I mean.
You live in Charlotte now, don't you?
Man, look, I live an hour away, and it was the best investment I ever did in my life. Let's get the hell out of South Carolina. I was there 1 year, and I was like, fuck this. I kept coming back to Charlotte. There's nothing to do in Columbia. Trust me. So you drive an hour to get away from South Carolina. Why not just, you'll see. I'm telling you, when you get here for the ball game, you're going to see, you know what, Coach, you were right. This place sucks.
Well, JJ, I had JJ on earlier. And I told him he's probably going to be down there in that area for that week too. So JJ Kitchen, he comes on our show.
Hey man, I got both of you guys, man. When you get down here, man, trust me, I'll be there.
I know you will. I'm looking forward to the trip. My concern, here's the thing: I don't think that they should be able to beat Oklahoma. I know that Oklahoma is prone to having a bit of a letdown, a bit of a, the next week after Red River, and it's on the road the week after Red River. It's a little concerning. Listen, I could see them losing that game. I really could. I don't know for sure that they do, but I could see it.
Oklahoma gave them 21 points.
They did
for the whole, and that was in what? 3 minutes of the ball game?
I don't think they should lose the game, but if they don't play up to speed, they could lose the game. Is the point? And you can see them having a letdown after Red River because it happens.
The game was trash. They gave you 21 points in a 3-minute span.
Yeah.
3-minute span, and you won 35-9. So that means 14 points for the rest of the damn game is all you got, because the defense was tired as hell, couldn't give up. The offense couldn't do shit.
Right. So the one touchdown they got, fucking Latrell was losing his shit on EJ at halftime because he changed the route.
Yeah. So we gonna see. We definitely gonna see. I'm just telling people, man, look, we go down there for a lot of seminars in South Carolina. That's where a lot of the coaches' clinics are in South Carolina.
Yeah.
They're not going to be that good, guys.
I don't think they are.
Not going to be that good.
I don't think they are either. I think their schedule sets up. It's a tough schedule, really, for them.
Those games they won last year, they're not going to win those close games. Illinois beat them, but those games like Texas A&M, they won last year.
They got lucky with that one.
They're not going to win this game this year because the talent that they got. What hurt them?
Lucky, but they're not going to beat LSU. They're not going to beat Alabama again. They're not going to win those two games. And they weren't close to the Ole Miss game. They might beat Ole Miss, I guess, but I doubt it.
Those games they won last year, okay. But the reason why they won't win this year, what hurt them the most is Clemson started to pay players. Now those players that didn't get paid last year, they're getting paid now because they're Clemson.
Yep.
That was the smartest thing that they did, was go get all those guys that they were not going to pay the year before that went down to South Carolina to play. Now those guys are like, I'm going back up because Clemson is now playing.
Because they have money. Players. Yeah, because they have money now. And Dabo can't. Somebody had to have gotten a hold of Dabo and said, shut the fuck up and let us take care of the players. You can worry about whatever you want other than that. Shut up.
The owner of the damn Panthers, grandson, goes to Clemson. You don't think that motherfucker ain't giving no money?
They had money before that, though.
You think that motherfucker ain't giving no money?
Yeah, but they had money before that, Coach. You already know.
Oh, yeah. Yes. But they just do look. Clemson, Greenville, South Carolina. Now, don't get me wrong. That's the place to be, honestly. Greenville, South Carolina.
I think that's where Coach I lives. Somewhere.
Man, that is a beautiful place. A lot of construction now. Don't go through there now. A lot of construction because they're building a lot of shit down there. But it's better than damn Columbia, South Carolina.
Kind of like Columbia, Missouri.
Don't get me on that shit, boy.
Columbia, Missouri.
So what's your take, man, next week? What do you think we're going to look like?
Oh, I think they should be clicking on all cylinders against Illinois State. I mean, my only real concern is the week after that. So I'll judge this offense based on what they do against Michigan more than anything else. So I think it's a good tune-up. It's a good tune-up for those guys. You'll get to see a lot of guys play. You can't have them. You don't want them to look as because they put up a shit ton of points on Temple last year in the first week, but Jackson didn't look good. He threw 3 touchdowns, but he only had 180 yards or some shit like that, right? Yeah. So you don't want to see them looking lackluster. You want to see them some big I want to see the big play, the explosive plays, right?
Yeah.
I want to see that.
I think everybody wants to see that. I think everybody wants to see how it goes down.
We haven't seen it in a year. We haven't seen them in a year. No explosive plays, almost none. So you got to have that. The defense, I think, is gonna eat. I think they're gonna eat. They're gonna blow them out. This should be 70-0 type of game, right?
Do you want that? Do you want 70-0?
Sure, absolutely. What's up, Punk? Good to see you, man. Yeah, I'd love to see 70-0. Go blow them out. Blow them the fuck out.
As they say, you do what you're supposed to do. No more struggling with teams that you're supposed to beat the brakes off of.
Don't let them hang around for a little while. We don't want to see a Houston game or, even Tulane. Tulane, I feel like, was a better team than people give them credit for last year. I think John Summerall is one of the better coaches in the country. He's going to be an SEC coach in a year, guaranteed. I mean, he just
is. They had Willie Fritz players still, so
he still had Willie's players.
Yeah, so
and they had a hell of a quarterback. But
yeah,
make no mistake, Oklahoma should have beat the fuck out of them.
But look who the quarterback was, though.
Until the end, it took R. Mason getting those back-to-back sacks, the strip sack fumble, for them to kind of finally pull away from it because, I mean, he just wasn't comfortable, bro. And that's the thing. People are acting like it can't happen for them to lose to Baylor. I promise you that that team from Tulane wasn't as good as this Baylor team is.
No. I think Dan Miranda going to throw the sink at his ass. I think he's going to throw everything at him. I'm pretty sure he's been looking at Oklahoma footage from last year to see where the pressure came from. What made him dance in the pocket?
Make the worst mistakes.
What made him make the worst mistakes? And that's what he's going to do repeatedly to make him do that. We're going to see if you learn from your lesson.
Here to where he's got to get off his horse, get happy feet.
Yeah. We're going to see. He's going to make him see. Have you learned your lesson? Have you learned your intangibles, how to look down, your progressions?
I don't think he knows his playbook even, bro. I have a hard time believing it.
Well, is Hugh Freeze going to open the playbook? See, I think Hugh Freeze thinks he don't have to open the playbook. But if that game gets real dicey and real close, is he going to trust Jackson Arnold?
Hugh Freeze was around, though. He was coaching at Ole Miss whenever they won the Natty when Aranda was the DC. He should know what he's going to get from Dave Aranda. Yep. He should know that Dave Aranda's dangerous. If he thinks he doesn't have to open up the playbook with Dave Aranda on the other side, calling those defensive plays and organizing that defense, then Hugh Freeze deserves what he's going to get.
Well, there's something to say about
you knew as a coordinator and head coach or whatever when you were calling your offense, you knew who the best DCs were.
Oh yeah, them are the ones that give you long nights, long sleepless nights.
You know they're going to find what
game planning
is and poke at it for an entire game.
Yeah. My playbook got real skinny that week. It got real skinny because certain plays I know where it's coming from.
Basic. Yeah, stay real basic with it and do.
Yeah, don't do anything. Those are times with trick plays and shit like that. You got to throw that out the window. You can't. You got to just stay basic. Do what got you to the party, man. Let that be it. I don't think Jackson's going to have the capacity, man, to go out there and win that game if it gets to a shootout.
Oh, no way. Kim Hurst, what's up, man? Good to see you.
So,
Unc in the house all late at night and shit. Woo!
And I was shocked. I was like, shit. I thought I caught the flight back, and I was like, damn, Jason's online.
What were you guys doing? Did y'all go? Oh, you went to Charlotte. Oh, you had that.
No, we was in Virginia.
Virginia, Coaches Clinic.
Yeah. And
where in Virginia? Where'd y'all go to there? Oh,
Hampton.
Okay.
Hampton, Virginia, and everything. It's a pretty cool place, man.
Right
Like I
around
said,
that area where all those cats are from, huh? All those.
dude, it's Keontae. He's from Virginia, in that Virginia area, and he was telling me where to go eat and things like that. It was an eye-opening experience, man, to see a lot of this talent, man. But it just reminds you like of Oklahoma, where you go to some of these places, man, and you be like, damn, Jinx is really like that. Or some of these powerhouses, Tulsa Union, they're really like that.
Bixby and Tulsa Union, yeah.
Virginia is really like that.
Yep.
There's some dudes there, man. And now I see why Wes Goodwin and all these guys like to go to the East Coast to get some of these players. Jason, man, you would never understand that some of these players, man, have no chance of going to college.
Yeah.
But it's some of the best talent that you've ever seen in your life. And you can just go and see it and go like, damn. And it ain't just like one or two. It was 150 kids tonight that hardly nobody knows about. Wow. So that lets you know, man, that things about to change, man. So, and I'm being honest, man, I was shocked. Everybody was enticed and talking about Oklahoma.
Bringing up OU, huh?
That was a whole, and like I said, I like to wear my OU stuff wherever I go because you never know. OU fans are universal. And that was the main topic.
When I lived in Vegas, every time I'd go somewhere, I always wear OU shit.
Yeah.
But when you live in Vegas, you don't spend much time on the strip or in those casinos even close to the strip, really. You just don't.
Yeah.
But like if I went to the sports book, because I did that a lot, you're wearing your OU stuff, there was always somebody yelling Boomer. Always.
Oh, dude, that's all I heard, Jason. Boomer Sooner. And I'm like, damn, okay.
They're everywhere.
And they're like, do you know so-and-so? Do you know so-and-so? And I'm like, damn, you feel like a damn rock star because everybody wants to know about Oklahoma.
Yeah. Well, and part of it was because DeMarco's from there. I knew DeMarco's. Yeah. I know his dad and stepmom. They ran around. They were close friends with a friend of mine, but we knew each other a little bit. And then the stepmom worked at the school where the kids went to school. So, and DeMarco, they love DeMarco there, but he doesn't spend a lot of time in Vegas anymore. But that's why, like with the guys that are from Vegas that you've gotten at Oklahoma, like Javante, his family, they love him. They love DeMarco. It is what it is.
Man, it's the same way Virginia is about Michael Vick.
Oh, dude.
You can't go nowhere in Virginia, and Michael Vick is not like God walking on water.
Same with AI. AI forever. Now, AI is like that in a lot of circles anyway, but AI, he does no wrong when it comes to those guys.
No. So, it's pretty cool.
Oh, Bubba Chuck.
I'm excited.
The defense about the scrimmage and said he would still need to simplify the offense afterwards. What, huh? Drew Brees. I don't know what you're talking about, Kim. What scrimmage? Is he coaching now?
Yeah.
Drew? I didn't know that. Where's he coaching at?
Where is he at? Yeah, I know he's coaching. Yeah.
What are you thinking about? What's your prediction on the season? Are you thinking that you think they get to 9? You think they get to 10? Where are you at on it?
I got 10, Jason. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, man. I'm really thinking. So he's an assistant. Oh, so he's at Purdue.
Oh,
he's an assistant coach.
That's good for them.
Drew Brees. Yeah. I got him. I still got him at 10, man. I just feel like, and I joked with the guys about 11-1, but I still got him at 10-2. I think they're gonna have
There's a lot of landmines, man. It's a lot of landmines.
Well, here's the thing. With the atrocious offense last year, man, they were in almost every game except 1 or 2. And the 1 or 2 games was because the defense, the dam just broke. They couldn't hold on no more. I don't think there's going to be a case this year.
I think freeze. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Okay, I'll get ready to say, but I know that Drew Brees is at Purdue, but I was like, okay.
He was talking about Hugh Freeze backing the defense off and then still having to feel like he's going to have to simplify his offense. That's not a good thing for Jackson. The Jackson Arnold people that are saying that he's going to do his thing and that it was everything about Oklahoma, which don't get me wrong. I don't even disagree with that part. I agree that it was a terrible situation for J.A. Terrible. Yeah. He was also bad.
You can't turn your defense on.
The reason that he's bad, when I'm saying he was bad, I'm not telling you the same thing about Michael Hawkins, and he played in the same fucking offense. And they didn't win games because of that. I'm not blaming it on Michael Hawkins. I can tell you that Jackson lost 3 games by himself.
Yep.
Completely by himself with no help from anybody else.
Tennessee,
Missouri, and
Ole Miss.
And you can say, well, Sexton got hurt against Ole Miss. Okay. You know that guy's hurt. You should know how to slide your protection and make sure that you're okay there.
Jake, I disagree with that. OU situation broke Jackson Arnold.
I think he was semi-broken anyway. He wasn't used to what was going on in Jake. I get what you're talking about, and I'm not saying it was a great situation, but as I just said, it didn't break Michael Hawkins, and he was a freaking true freshman.
The situation at Arizona hurt Jackson Arnold. When the game was, he thought he came in that game. The game was too fast for
him. Yeah, and that's what they were good at defensively. They weren't all bend no break. You know what I mean? But they caused a lot of turnovers.
Yeah,
and that freaked him out. And he got afraid to throw. And then the other part that freaked him out was the competition of having a guy like Michael Hawkins behind you.
Knowing that you can't
stand looking over their shoulder at those. Other guys get better for it. Other guys wilt because of it. And Jackson wilts. That's the difference. It's until I see otherwise, that's my opinion about it. He doesn't rise to the occasion. He shrinks from it.
Have you seen Michael Hawkins lately?
Yeah, dude. He's everything you're hearing about him, everything I've seen from him looks unbelievable.
I think Ben Arbuckle has finally come around to say, you know what? I have a stud. So, hey, we're going to find out. I hope he gets in that game, the first game. He needs to get in that first game.
He'll get in. He should be in half the game, probably.
They
need to play Jet New in that game. He's probably some time.
You got 4 games to play him.
Yeah.
Jet New. We need to get him implemented into the playbook as well.
I think Jet can throw it, man. Jet can throw it.
But
I don't know that he's going to ever be a starter at Oklahoma. He probably shouldn't be.
He's going to transfer out.
But okay. But I think that Jet's going to be really good. I think he's going to be, and I heard somebody, I think K. Chris was saying that, he'd be like Sam Bradford. That's a lot. That's expecting a lot. But Sam was very under-recruited and unheralded coming out of high school.
Yeah. Now, Jake, I agree with that. OU situation magnified his flaws as a player.
That's more close to correct. Exactly. Yes. OU situation magnified his flaws as a player. Yeah. His problem is his mental. We've seen the best of Oklahoma quarterbacks, and what I think athletic talent, the talent, and he's good, right? He's got that part. He can throw it. He can make every throw, all that stuff. We know that on the air anyway. But what we've seen at Oklahoma in the past, you go back to Sam, you go back to Jason White, you go back to Josh Heupel. When plays break down, they get better. Unless we're talking Spencer or Jackson. Spencer was not good under pressure either.
I'm glad you say that, because that's the comparison that someone gave Jackson Arnold tonight. Spencer Rattler.
Well, they're at
great 5-star.
Great comparison, because I think Spencer was still shitty. I do think he was still shitty when he left here.
That was a great comparison tonight. I was like, oh shit. They were saying poor offensive circumstance, declining in confidence, turnover issues. I'm like, damn, somebody really watches film.
Think about
this was a young kid saying this.
Think about he looked good against teams that they're supposed to beat the shit out of.
Because the talent was so good on Oklahoma side.
He had a big arm. But if they got in his fucking bread box, now he's making mistakes. Look at how he was both years that he played in the Red River game. He looked like hammered hell in the first quarter.
Scared as hell.
Scared to death. Now, the first year, of course, Lincoln jerked his ass right out, puts in Chandler. He does fine. Chandler Morris comes in. He settles him down, gets him back in the game. Okay. He waited an awful long long time the next year, which is why I've always said that it comes from that. Do you think it came from? No, because he's always had a quarterback coach. I mean, do I think that it? Look, again, I'm going to say this again. The same situation was going on with every quarterback there, and you didn't see Michael Hawkins being afraid of the issues. They put him into bad positions, but Michael flourished under that. I mean, the same defense that Tennessee was beating the brakes off of freaking Jackson, causing him to, fumble around and fuck everything up. And all Hawkins did is just keep coming at him, layering balls into tight coverage under pressure, taking off and running and putting his body on the line.
Yeah.
You only have to look at the same quarterback room to make the comparison you need to make, that he wasn't the guy.
Yeah.
He just wasn't the guy. Now, and we can say it had something to do with Seth Luttrell and Joe John and that they weren't letting Kevin, the guy that was here last year that he had been at Duke. Now he's at Kevin Johns.
Kevin Johns.
They had him on advanced scouting instead of coaching these guys. Yeah, none of that was ideal. And part of that, if you're Coach Venables, you should have had a better handle on that too, by the way.
Yeah.
None of this shit was ideal. But the truth is just what Jimmy just said. Hawk never backed down from it or like shriveled from the competition. Jackson fell apart. It's the whole season. If you look at just that one little segment that we caught in the Missouri game of Deion Burke screaming at him on the sideline, throw the fucking football. And what's Jackson doing? Trying to explain to him why he couldn't throw the ball. And Deion didn't want to hear it. Throw the motherfucker. Throw it.
You can't be scared to go out there and compete against the best players and the best teams. That's what you live for. That's why you come to places like Oklahoma, Alabama, and Georgia, and Ohio State. You come because you want to play against the best.
Hard, everybody would do it. Right? Man, us guys that weren't good enough to play at that level, we know that. I mean, shit, I know you were a better player than I was. I'm saying though, where it's at. You want to compete. You want to get out there and get after it. And it's not supposed to be easy.
Shit, no. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Nobody'd make any fucking money either if it was easy.
By you saying that, Jason. By you saying that. Game last night, Union Academy versus Anson. That was a 6'3", 215-pound white kid. Now just follow me, white kid, running back. playing Anson. Anson's an all-black school.
Okay.
You might have one white kid on the team. All I kept hearing all night in the stands, because we're there, we're evaluating.
Who's that white boy that can run?
Hey, who that white boy that can run? And I had my boy with me. He was like, Coach, go ahead and do it. I was like, vroom. I was like, hey, they were arm tackling the kid versus hitting him.
Yeah.
Because he would look for the contact. He wasn't trying to run away from it. His mentality is
running backs like that.
Since your ass is out here on this field, you get anywhere near me, I'm gonna give it to you. And I'm gonna tell you, the white kid, I can't think of his name. I have to look up the
He's
stats.
a baller, huh?
214 yards rushing. Week 1.
That's a nice game. That's a
214. But they lost. But all everybody could talk about was in the stands. Who's that running back?
Yeah.
For Union Academy. Who's that running back? And he's nasty too. Don't get me wrong. He's nasty. But you can tell, man, that he's been groomed to play football because he has that old, you always hear that old saying, he has that old spirit. You can't be a running back in today's day and be scared to run football and run the rock.
No.
He looks for the contact. And I love watching games.
I love running backs that look for contact. I love that.
What's the running back for Arizona State?
Yeah, Scatteroo.
Prime example. He reminded me because he took his helmet off. He has that old Jim Duggan beard and hair everywhere. I mean, and when they take the helmet off, the steam just coming off. I'm like, oh yeah, I love shit like that, man. I was like, man, I gotta come watch this kid win. Yeah, Union Academy, bad running back. But I say to say that you can't be scared to play at the next level.
You have to. A lot of these. You have to. I think the ones that do really well. You think about like Ryan Williams last year. That dude he loved that shit. You get it. And Jeremiah Smith. Now Jeremiah Smith is on another level than everybody, but Ryan Williams was a stud, right? But you can tell he was having a great time. You know what I mean? And he loved the competition of going up against the Georgia game. He got off. And I mean, he's going up against one of the best defensive backs in the country. He didn't give a fuck.
Man, look, you can't be scared. When I play against Corliss Williamson and Big Country Brian Reeves when I was growing up, I wanted to play against them guys because
that's a name.
Man, look, Corliss terrorized a lot of teams.
Corliss is a bad dude, man.
Terrorized a lot because back in those days, nobody was 6'7", 250, 260. Shit. So he was that special breed.
Like he had too. He was quick.
Dude. And then to go east, to go south down to Gaines, Oklahoma, and play Big Country Brian Reed's big ass. Wasn't nobody 6'7" and 6'8" in high school back in those days. So
he was like 6'10", wasn't he?
He was 6'8" in high school. In 11th grade, we played state against Gaines, Oklahoma. That motherfucking man had 44 points.
He was skilled, man. He was skilled.
It was the only, but when you're that tall, you ain't got to do a lot of shit. Just do the basic shit to get the job done. But yeah, I mean, I was decent, but I wasn't no damn 6'8".
No, we played our school. We played against Taman Domzowski, who went to Duke. He was 6'9". He was 6'6" when he was an 8th grader. Big old boy, and he had skill too. But when he went to Duke, he should have not went to Duke. Because the reason
North Carolina, that's where he should have went.
Well, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. He should have went to New Mexico or somewhere Tech, something like that. Because if he'd have gone to New Mexico, he would have played with Kenny Thomas, and they got deep in the tournament that year. They had Greg Brown. You remember Greg Brown that won the Naismith at New Mexico?
Yeah.
Kenny played for a lot of years in the league. Good power forward, really good power forward. If Taman goes there, they make the Elite 8, Sweet 16, something like that, and he's a fucking superstar forever in the state of New Mexico. You know what I mean? Yeah. He went to Duke and played in the ACC. He played more as a freshman when Coach K was sick that year, and it was after the Grant Hill and all those guys were gone. So he played more that year than he did later when Corey Maggette and Elton Brand showed up. So because those dudes will rip your arm off if you get in front of them going to, under the hole. You know what I mean? So Taman was skilled, and he should have played in the NBA. He went to medical school after that. It was good that he went to Duke because he became a doctor. But the point is that, like, he, as a player, he wasn't, not everybody's ready for that shit yet. You know what I mean? Like, some of those guys are, AJ Bramlett, I remember him he played with Bibby and them at Arizona. Really good player. He was a big man, and they won the Natty that year. AJ was really good. It worked at Arizona. He probably wouldn't have worked out on the East Coast somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just different. The style of play is different, right? But there was those Arkansas cats that went and played for the Hogs and all that during that time when Coach Richardson was there. Oh my God, they were good.
Kim, I played basketball in Sparrow before I graduated. That's where I played against Big Country Brown Reeves. But when I went to Little Rock Central, I played with Oliver Miller, Todd Day, Lee Mayberry, Corliss Williams, Corey Beck. I played with all those guys and everything.
Bro, Corey Beck was bad. Dude, that guy could light it up.
Lindsey, hold on. The best one was Lindsey Howe. Smooth.
Yes.
Scotty Thurman. All those guys, man. We played summer ball together. So when I tell you these guys were nice, look, the only reason everybody know about Derek Fisher, I'm going to say it and he can say I'm lying. I don't give a damn what he say. The only reason why Derek Fisher got found, I got hurt. I tore my ligament. He was at Euler. He was at University of Arkansas, Little Rock, Euler. We all played Dunbar ball together. Once I got hurt, he got in the ball game. He never let it go. He never came back out of the game again. So that's why I transferred to Central, UCA, because I could not get back on the basketball court no more.
Fisher was pretty good, but he was an asshole. We all know that.
Asshole. Asshole.
Hey, man, you already know.
I said it.
Hey, I don't care.
I'm a grown ass man now. Come holler at me.
Matt
Hey, Matt. Hey. Matt Barnes pulled up on him. Matt Barnes pulled up on him.
I love it when he talks about that shit because he'll still say "fuck him."
Dude, when the son call you and tell you something, and hey, I'm coming. I'm on my way. Yeah, I'll be right there.
Yeah.
But no, man, them were the days, man. Them were the days. Yes, I said Derek Fisher. Yes, I said it. Derek Fisher is from University of Arkansas, Little Rock. He's from Arkansas. Yes.
Yeah. Rod Thompson and Mayberry used to run camps together. Rod's like a brother. Rod Thompson was a baller. Lee Mayberry could play his ass off too.
Dude.
Those dudes were, hey, you know what? And people would, I think that if it wasn't for those UNLV teams at that time, they'd have won like 4 or 5.
Oh, Arkansas would. Dude, look. When they came and beat Duke, I wasn't shocked. I was not shocked at all. But you know who got the credit for that game? An Oklahoma alum. Tight end, Oklahoma. You want to know his name?
Yeah.
I want to see if somebody can guess it.
Come on with it. I think I know who you're talking about, but I'm not positive.
Famous Oklahoma tight end.
Jermaine?
Come on, somebody. Huh?
It's not Jermaine Gresham.
No.
No. Keith. Come on, it's Keith.
Thank you. Because Keith has an
I was thinking
24/7.
Keith was there. Yeah.
Keith Jackson has a 24/7 basketball gym open in the inner cities of Little Rock. That's open 24/7. It keeps all the kids off the street, so you can play ball. There's bunks in there. He took an old abandoned college, and he made it a place for kids in the inner city can come and play basketball, sleep, keeps them off the street. Then he has a summer league every year. It's called Dunbar. Check it out. Dunbar is where all the talent goes every single year. You have 400, 500 kids there playing in a tournament 24/7 for 4 days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Championship game, and you got NBA players that come there and watch these games.
Well, Keith is like Arkansas's favorite son that went to OU.
Yes, till this day they hate that shit. Mm-hmm. But I don't care. I'm glad I did go to Oklahoma.
Me too.
But Keith Jackson has 4 gyms now. But Dunbar Tournament still lives on every single year, every summer. Dunbar Tournament. Check it out. If you can go to one, you'll see the best talent in your world there.
Doyle Hargraves, if you're going to put money on the Sooners, I'm glad you brought that up. You should definitely go to hofmedia.us/mybookie1000. You can get your first deposit matched 100% up to $1,000. So go over there and check it out. And it's time to start doing it too, boys and girls. And if you haven't gotten all your gear, make sure you go to Fanatics. Our link, hofmedia.us/Fanatics. Get the best prices you can get on whatever your school may be. You can get it. Get the best prices of the day on that link. Every time, man. This is the best time to do it. As you can see, I got a new lid. I got a bunch of new lids going on lately.
Man, look, I need to start wearing my shit. I got a wall full of hats, and I wear the same ones almost all the time. I need to start wearing different hats.
Right? I've got it's got the OU on the back.
Oh yeah,
I had the schooner on the front.
I can see I got hats every damn where, man. I got hats over there hanging on the wall. Everywhere I go somewhere for a seminar, I get a hat.
Hey, this is old school, right? This is the old school look back in the day. Remember those?
That's crazy. That's a classic. That's the old Bob Stoops hat when he first got here.
Sure is. That was back when we were growing up, finishing up in high school and getting into college. And so that was the hat that was everybody was wearing for all the schools. You know, that cursive look. But yeah, make sure y'all check it all out. Guys, we've been going for over 3 hours. It's late. It's about time to get up out of here.
It's 3:20. It's 3:30 here. See, I'm supposed to be asleep.
Late for me, but it's been a long couple of days. We went to a funeral yesterday for a family friend that really likes family. So it's been tough on my mom's. That was her best friend, and we spent a lot of time with her. But so I was lazy today and watching football and lazy and just kind of watching. But I wanted to talk a little bit anyway. I'm glad everybody jumped on. Got JJ to come on with us. Coach come in. Legend popped in for a couple of seconds too. We are now here, folks. It's here.
Let me say something if I can on I don't know if he's still awake, but I'm gonna speak to Legend right quick. He called me today. All I'm gonna say is let that shit go. It'll be all right. If you need me again, holler at me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I think he's going through some shit right now, man, that makes no sense. I tell people, man, all the time, man, that's the main reason why I don't talk about politics, religion, sexual preference, anything like that. It starts a lot of shit. It starts a lot of shit from different people and mainly family. Family people are the ones, man, that give it to you the worst. So that's a great show.
Yep. I have him on. I have 50 on him at plus 2250 from like a month ago. So
I put 75 when it was a little bit lower odds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the odds were better when I did it too. But you can definitely do it. You can do prop bets. There's all kinds of different bets in there on MyBookie. MyBookie's gotten to be one of the best online betting sites there in the country. The SEC, that SEC podcast guys, they're also sponsors, or they sponsor them. They sponsor them. They don't really sponsor me the way that they do those guys. I'm more of like an affiliate, but you get a hookup with it, and you can help me become more of like a sponsored guy if I get enough. I would think. So that would be cool. Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks for coming in, guys. We appreciate it, man. And you know that I love coming in on Saturdays. We'll definitely be back Monday morning. If you haven't already sent in your picks for the season, give me your top 12 to get into the CFP playoffs. Give me your 12. So you'd have your conference champions, do it like it and set it up 1 to 12. And then we're probably going to do it with K. Chris and Chris Mason. I'll do it on the morning show as well, though, but I didn't have time the other day to do it because of the funeral and everything coming up. So I gave some extension time. Make sure you pick that. Give me who you think who are going to be how many playoff. Obviously, if you pick that, then I'll know how many. But give me your record for the Sooners coming in, and we'll put it all up there. I'm going to be doing that here over.
You get mine? Did you get mine? I sent you.
Did you email it to me?
Yeah.
I hadn't looked today because, like I said,
I gave you all 12.
Okay. Did you pick it to win, or what? Did you pick it, who was winning the Natty and all that kind of stuff?
No, but I can. That'd be easy as hell for me.
Go for it. Yeah.
I'm tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and do a bracket.
Do the bracket. I'll send
I'm gonna send it to you.
In fact, I'll put a link to a bracket that you guys can print out or whatever, and or like you can like screenshot it and then put the teams you think are going to win, or just give me your 12. That's fine. If you do that, we'll have it all down, and then we'll have some more opportunities throughout the year to like pick the national champion and all that kind of stuff. But we're gonna do some cool stuff like that throughout the year. So I'm excited, man. I'm ready. I'm so freaking ready.
Dude,
it's finally back. It's the longest offseason ever, Coach.
I think the way the season ended, everybody is itching to see what it's going to be like this year. So everybody's itching. That's bad as hell.
I don't know if everybody heard me or not, but yeah. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate that. I thought I just added. Oh, I did do that wrong. My bad, guys. The money line collection is there. Sorry about that. Coach got it. But yeah, listen. I think that you were just bringing that up about the beats, and Legend had brought that up earlier. Somebody asked me in there if I'd rather have Cade Klubnik or Mateer, and I understand the question, but I think for Oklahoma, there's only one answer. It's Mateer. I think that he's injected a level of belief in them, confidence in those guys on this football team that's been sorely needed. And it may have been no matter how long he actually is in the game, like for injury or anything else, you had to have what Mateer was bringing. That confidence level, competitive drive, all that, right?
Yeah.
That's my thoughts. So,
yeah.
But anyway, Coach, I appreciate you coming in, man. I'll talk. Are you going on tomorrow?
Yeah, man, I'll be on tonight, man. I gotta do another. Today. I gotta do it. Well, yeah, today. I gotta do something here in the next few minutes. Just fill out some paperwork and do some shit that I don't want to do. We had some fights last night, so I have to submit those to the committee and everything. So I'll be up for another hour or so.
Players on the field fighting and stuff, so you got to keep.
Dude, I mean, fight, like punches. Like, so being on the board, I have to sit here and evaluate because I'm getting calls all night. How many games are going to be suspended? So I got to look at the damn video, and it's just some shit.
Wow.
Yeah. 6 fights on one night of football play. High school football play. 6 fights. So it's crazy.
It's getting wild like that, man, where all that shit goes on a lot more.
Well, we anticipated it because you get tired of hitting your own players. So, but the fights are mainly playing beyond the whistle.
Yeah.
You know, you really don't hear the whistle, and we got new recruits, we got new officials that's coming in right now, and they're not really blowing their whistle. And we had one official get hurt when they were fighting. He tried to go in there and break it up. No, you blow your whistle until that mother can't. You don't go in there and try to break up. These are grown ass kids with helmets and pads on, and you got nothing on to protect yourself. And of course, he got headbutted, started bleeding and shit and everything. So we'll look at all this shit and see what goes on. But yeah, man, thank you for letting me come on, man. But I'll send you a link because we're gonna try to get ready for this season, man, and see what happens.
It'll be some fun. All right, man. Yeah. Well, I'll let you later on.
All right, man. Take care, big dog. I'm out. Have a good one, everybody.
You too. Peace. Coach Ricks. Make sure you check us out on Coach Ricks. It's just at Coach Ricks. Coaches Talk on YouTube. At Coach Ricks. Make sure you get over there and check us out. Become a subscriber to his channel. I'll put it in the description here too as well. But yeah, appreciate everybody coming in. I'm gonna play these commercials because hey, Make sure you get in there and check out the merch store. Make sure you check out Fanatics. Get your game day gear for the season coming up. You get free shipping on a lot of stuff. You can. There's some stuff you should be able to get it quickly. Because of it being last minute time. This is the time to do it. But get some great deals right now on that stuff at Fanatics. And then if you're a bettor, you got to make sure that you get into my bookie as well. Have a good one. See you on the next one. Hey, Jason Watkins here with Hall of Fame College Football. And if you are ready to back your favorite team, the Sooners, and fade that Texas hype train every Saturday this fall, there's only one place to do it, my bookie. Right now, you can double your first deposit up to $1,000 when you sign up at hofmedia.us/mybookie1000. That's hofmedia.us/mybookie1000. Yep, 100% deposit bonus, and it takes less than 5 minutes to get started. Whether you're betting college football, rolling the dice in the online casino, or dropping a 10-leg parlay on SEC Chaos, MyBookie has everything you need. Bet anytime, anywhere, on the go, at the tailgate, or yelling at the refs from your couch. Just don't talk trash. Put your money where your mouth is. Hit that link, hofmedia.us/mybookie1000, and get your deposit bonus today. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie and Hall of Fame College Football. Are you tired of your game day gear looking like it's stuck in the offseason? Well, step up your fandom with Hall of Fame College Football's official Fanatics partner store. Whether you're a diehard Oklahoma Sooners fan like myself, bleeding crimson and cream, or you rep another one of the SEC's heavy hitters, Fanatics has you covered. Shop thousands of officially licensed hats, jerseys, sideline polos, and exclusive championship merch from the entire Power 4 and Group of 6 too, all shipped directly to your doorstep and fast. Want to gear up like your favorite coaches and players? Are you looking for that perfect tailgate tee or a statement piece for your man cave? Fanatics is your one-stop shop for authentic college football gear from everybody that plays the game. So do yourself and your team a favor. Click our link in the description or simply log on to hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. And you can shop everything that you want for the best prices of the day right on our Fanatics partner page.